Cole Cubelic, yep. And I should have probably written that down. Either way, you can watch us on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter at @OTB_ESPN. And you can listen now to Hour 1 of Off the Bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Off and at it off the bench, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 100.3 ESPN Radio in New Orleans, 94.7 ESPN Alexandria. Online at 1045ESPN.com. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. Remember, on YouTube, we're at the 1045 ESPN channel, so search us there. All of our live shows will originate on 1045 ESPN throughout the day. You can find show highlights like yesterday's segment talking to Chad Durbin on the Off the Bench YouTube. So make sure you stay subscribed to your favorite shows to keep up with the content. Set up the alerts so that you get the bell and notifications once the content has been uploaded.
Yeah, so again, 1045 ESPN has a YouTube channel. Just tweet out the link. Every show we do will all be live every day, all day from there. So that's like anytime you want to check out what's going on live, you go there, and then each show, AFR, Hanging with Hester and Hanny, and then OTB. We all have our own channels. That's where all the interviews, highlights, everything will stay at. So we are clear now. We're all on the same page. We're moving forward. Go check out the 1045 ESPN page. Subscribe to it. Let's do it.
All right, coming up on today's show, we will talk to Dr. Loren Scott, who is a local economist here in Baton Rouge, who will give us the outlook of what the community could look like without college football, as yesterday was not a good day for the sport. Big Ten had a big announcement. We'll keep you up to date. We will tell you what the announcement was coming up inside of your headlines. Also yesterday, some more news coming out on the Zion Williamson case, as it was talked about his stepfather accepting $400,000. We will talk to the lawyer, Daniel Wallach, in hour number 2. He is a sports gaming attorney from the state of Florida who will stop by at 8:15 this morning. 7:30, we gave Hunt the assignment to watch Gladiator 2 weeks ago. We were off last Friday, so no movie review. We should have an epic breakdown from Hunter coming up in 30 minutes here on Off the Bench.
I'm getting from the subtext here that we have no confirmation if Hunt has actually watched Gladiator or not.
Well, here's the deal. He usually tweets out a screenshot of the TV and starting the movie, and I have not seen that on social media. I haven't been surfing Twitter over the last 48 hours religiously, so it may be out there, but I have not seen it, so we'll find out if Hunt did go through with the assignment at 7:30 this morning. Here are your headlines on this Friday, July 10th.
Headlines on Off the Bench.
The Big Ten announced on Thursday that they will go conference only this season for all fall sports, including football, amid unprecedented times during the coronavirus pandemic. A statement from the Big Ten: we are facing uncertain and unprecedented times, and the health and safety and wellness of our student athletes, coaches, game officials, and others associated with our sports programs and campuses remain our number one priority, the Big Ten said in a statement. The Big Ten is the first of the Power 5 conferences to make this type of major change to its fall sports schedule. The SEC on Thursday said it continues to meet with campus leaders to determine the best path forward. Brandon Marcello with 247 Sports reported on Thursday that the SEC will be discussing a conference-only football schedule for the 2020 season during a meeting next week. Lots of sound on this. We'll start it off with Heather Dinich of ESPN was on Golic and Wingo. Or actually, Kay, let's take the Paul Feinbaum first bite here, talking about the leadership around the sport.
Fighting the virus is that nobody's in charge. I don't think this is the first time we've mentioned this, but it's really the problem. In every other sport that has been mentioned, there's a commissioner. There are people that understand the nuances. And in college football, we have 5 commissioners of the Power 5 leagues who are trying to figure it out, but the NCAA does not necessarily have a vote here. They can offer some guidance. and they really haven't offered very much at that. So it is a mess.
Coach Ed Ogeron jumped on WWL last night with T-Bob's dad, Bobby, and Christian Garrick. He was talking about the preparation they are under right now.
Yeah, but we plan to play. The other stuff is out of our control. We have the full staff in here. We're planning for football school. We've made our practice schedules for August. We put in all of our scripts. We're doing all of our chords. We're going on as usual. We're playing. Now, whatever happens, we've been told that all likelihood we are playing. But if that changes, that's out of our control. But for right now, our team has a great mindset.
Thursday night on WWL, talking about whose decision it is to make.
And, as a head coach, you can say this, you can say that. We're not going to make the decision, so I'm not going to say anything because I know that whatever I say, it's not my decision, and that the powers that be are going to make that decision. So I'm going to sit back and do everything that we can. I'm planning to play September 5th, and that's our mindset.
The news from the Big Ten comes just hours after it was reported that the Big Ten was planning to play a conference-only schedule in 2020. The Ivy League on Wednesday ruled out playing all fall sports coming up this season. More from Paul Feinbaum yesterday on Get Up, talking about what he anticipates the fall to look like.
And the reality is that the college football season is slipping away. They can hold on hope. But if you look at what is going on in the country, it is dreadful news. And yesterday, with not only the Ivy League story, but the story at Ohio State and North Carolina shutting down practice, at least temporarily, it was the worst day college athletics has had since that March day when the whole world shut down. And I don't really see it getting any better.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm fully as pessimistic as Feinbaum seems there. But if you do look at trends, things are not trending in a great direction. I still have to believe that there's so much momentum behind football, so much riding on it that people are going to push this thing to the 11th hour. But we're starting to see some of the trickle-down effect or the potential. We'll talk a lot about ripple effects today, right? But we're starting to see some of the ripple effects that were alluded to when we knew that Ivy League announcement was impending, right? And now you've got the Big Ten saying this, the ACC saying they've already pushed back fall sports September 1st. They're expected to go conference only. I mean, well, at this point, basically every conference feels like they'll end up being conference only eventually.
Zion Williamson's stepfather solicited and accepted $400,000 payment, a $400,000 payment from a marketing agent in October of 2018 prior to Williamson's only season with the Duke Blue Devils, according to a court motion and sworn affidavit filed by his former marketing representative attorneys in federal court on Thursday. Gina Ford's attorney says with the affidavit and other exhibits show that Williamson was ineligible when he played for Duke in the 2018-2019 season because his stepfather, Lee Anderson, received impermissible benefits from a Canadian marketing agent. Ford and Prime Sports Marketing sued Williamson and CAA for $100 million in state court in Florida for Williamson's alleged breaching of their marketing agreement and signing with CAA. We will talk more about this coming up in hour number 2. Daniel Wallach, who is a sports gaming attorney down in the state of Florida, will jump on with us at 8:15.
I was waiting for it, but there was one alleged in there. Zion's lawyers are claiming that the documents that have been provided for the sworn affidavit are false, including, I think it's like Lee Anderson's driver's license is included in that mix. I'm interested to see what Wallach has to say about where this is all going to go legally. But Jordy, don't you just feel terrible for Duke and Coach K? They're trying to run a clean program, and here people are swooping in, trying to make their players ineligible. The poor guy, dude. He just can't catch a break, man.
David Griffin, Pelicans president, was on ESPN NOLA on Thursday talking about the first day in the bubble.
Yeah, so yesterday when we got here, I would tell you that it felt a little bit like we were walking into a movie set of like Contagion or something about the end of the world. There was absolutely nobody in the hotel but the NBA staff who sort of ushered us to where we were going to do our testing. All of the seats were set up in such a way that they were perfectly socially distanced. Everybody in the building's wearing a mask. It felt a little bit, and the nurses and doctors that were involved were wearing the face shields. It felt really surreal.
More from Griffin, talking about two players that he's seen some growth from over the last couple of weeks.
I think, again, sometimes your leadership muscles take a while. You need to be comfortable with your own voice and trusting your own voice. And I think both Zoe and BI are reaching that point where they are becoming more vocal. They've both had really good feel for the game and understanding of what needed to happen, but I don't think they were comfortable yet voicing that. And I think we've seen that they've both come back with a different level of preparedness for that.
He was talking about Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball in that bite.
David Griffin could convince me of anything. I just believe he's so good at selling his messages. There was another bite yesterday that wasn't quite long enough, I think, to warrant. It was just like a sentence or two, but it was talking about how Josh Hart stressed to David Griffin during the trade deadline, and his name was kind of being bandied about, that he wants to be in New Orleans, that he loves it here, and that he loves his role on this team. And it was interesting hearing Hart himself talk about it, where he basically said, look, it's kind of nice. Nothing's expected of me. And you may say, wait, that's an odd place. But I kind of get that as a grinder, as someone, he doesn't have to go out and score 20, 30. He just has to go out there, play really hard, and do all the dirty work that nobody else wants to. And Josh Hart loves that role. He loves the city of New Orleans. I love this Pelicans team. Getting more and more excited as we get closer.
More sound coming up from David Griffin here on Off the Bench. We will hear that over the next 3 hours. We're jam-packed. We'll talk about the economic impact of possibly no college football in the SEC or no college football around us this year, as the SEC is exploring a SEC-only schedule after the Big Ten's announcement on Thursday. We'll talk more about that coming up on OTB, but Dr. Loren Scott will stop by at 8 o'clock this morning. Hunt Palmer is going to break down the movie Gladiator, we think, at 7:30. Come back with us. OTB, powered every day by All-Star Toyota.
Off the Bench with Jordy Culotta and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All-Star Toyota brings you Off the Bench. Remember, online, All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. Stop in and see them on the corner of Goodwood and Airline. If you're looking for a hybrid model, you can shop all of them over there on Goodwood and Airline. In fact, you can find them online at All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. If you're looking for the service department, collision department, or the sales department, they're all open and operating for you this morning. Online, All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com.
All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. You can see it right there if you're watching the stream. That is an excellent site. You want some incredible deals, 0% APR for 60 months. You want cash back deals. You can find all the specials right there on All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. Whether you're looking for new, used, you want a Toyota certified used vehicle where you'll get things like a warranty. This is a one-stop shop. And maybe you're just taking a weekend trip, right? And you don't need to buy a new vehicle, but you'd like to rent something for the weekend. Okay, well, you can do that with All-Star. Go to allstartoyotabatonrouge.com today.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
When it comes to working.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just market.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We are live on YouTube. Remember to this morning on ESPN, watch 104.5 ESPN on the YouTube station there. We'll be live throughout the day for all of our shows. Any highlights from particular shows you can find on specific channels. So if you're going to look for isolated interviews like Dr. Loren Scott coming up at 8 o'clock this morning, we will also talk to Daniel Wallach, who is a sports and gaming attorney from the state of Florida, which will give us some insight on the Zion case and the latest on Zion. And the threat there with a marketing agent who's claiming that Zion, Lee Anderson, his stepdad, and Zion took $400,000 in the summer of 2018, 2019 before Zion got to Durham, North Carolina to play for Duke. And Coach K will talk to Daniel Wallach coming up at 8:15 this morning. And Hunt will stop by in about 12 minutes here to talk a little bit about his latest movie, which was Gladiator, and we'll get his thoughts on what the fall is going to look like. We told you Coach O was on with Bobby and Christian Garrick last night on WWL. He was talking a little bit about the decision-making process and what the fall could look like. He was also giving an update on his quarterback Miles Brennan, which he updated the fourth-year signal caller for the Tigers.
They like him a lot. He's running the summer practices. They're throwing on their own. And, everything is going good. He's showing tremendous leadership. He is up. He has gained weight. He is 218 pounds. I think he came to us, $160, $170. So far he's showing tremendous leadership. But as you all know, just like Joe did, this became Joe's team when we beat Georgia. I think Georgia, his first year with us, was ranked number 2 in the country. This became his team when you win the big game. Miles is going to have to win the big game to prove that he can be the quarterback. I mean, that's just part of it.
And what we're curious about and wondering after yesterday is, will we be able to see Miles win that big game this year because of the Big Ten's announcement, the Ivy League's announcement? 48 hours ago, the Ivy League announced that all fall sports were going to be suspended. 24 hours ago, the Big Ten announced that their fall schedule was going to move to a conference-only schedule, including football. From there, it was reported that Brandon Marcello of 247 Sports is saying that the SEC will now be discussing a conference-only football schedule for the 2020 season during a meeting next week. What was your feeling after yesterday's decisions around the sport?
Oh, if I'm being completely honest, I don't think that I don't know. I didn't find it particularly shocking, right? We talked about it on this show. We had mentioned the rumors of the Big Ten. Yesterday, we had the whole plague analogy where we talked about like trade routes breaking down and places becoming insular and how we could see a similar thing happen in college football if everybody goes conference only. So that's exactly where you are right now. I kind of remain, in terms of will football happen, I remain unmoved today. I still think football will happen. It's like we said, it's probably going to happen in a conference-only fashion. Now, we can get into it. It's a bummer. You're going to lose some really good interconference matches. What does it do for groups like for the group of 5 schools? Like, for instance, The Athletic has a great article up right now about the relationship between the Big Ten and the MAC. That's a very close relationship. Big Ten, oldest Power 5 conference, MAC, oldest group of 5. Basically, every MAC school was set to make about $1 to $2 million by playing their Big Ten counterparts. So there are, like, I am not sure what happens on that level of football. I can't pretend to know. That feels precarious to me. The group of 5 does, and how they navigate this. They were already having budget issues back in May due to the corona, the pandemic and everything. But in terms of major college football, it still goes back to what we said yesterday. I think there's too much money behind it. I think people are still going to try everything they can to make that happen. Now, I think there's a chance that the season could be pushed back, Jordy, depending on how this spike goes over the next couple of weeks. I think that would make a lot of sense. I think I read that the ACC, I only read this one place, so I haven't read them all, but the ACC said they're not starting fall athletics till September 1st, yeah. Right? Okay, yeah. So pushback makes sense. But this move from the conferences makes sense also because, like, okay, what are the words that you keep hearing about now? Uncertain, right? Shifting, fluid. In these uncertain times, you want to try to minimize the amount of variables that you're dealing with. And when you're talking about all the moving parts that go into a national college football season, that's an incredible amount of variables. And hell, even playing a conference-only schedule, there's still a ton, but there are less. And you can make a more codified, okay, this is how we're doing things. This is how we're going to travel. This is how we're going to treat hotels. Our players are going to wear masks, like the plastic mask on the face mask, or maybe they won't. It gives these conference commissioners more control. So honestly, I didn't find this surprising. And while it is unfortunate and you're losing a lot of good games, I still don't know that I feel like football is any more threatened today than it was yesterday.
Definitely not in the SEC.
Yeah.
And one thing,
Pac-12, I don't know. Yeah. I don't feel great about the Pac-12.
I mean, when you look around and you get a sense of people in boardrooms making decisions right now about what's going to happen a couple of months from now, it's very uncertain. One thing that feels for certain is that the Southeastern Conference is going to play. I just think that talking to too many people around the sport, that there is too much emphasis to get on the field because of the financial of the finances and what the implications could be if you don't play. In fact, we'll talk to Dr. Loren Scott about that coming up in just a little under an hour. In about 35 minutes, Dr. Loren Scott, who is the well-known economist here in our region, especially in our state, will stop by and talk about what the impact could look like if college football does not exist for a community like Baton Rouge. So I'm with you, T. I don't, I think that yesterday, while the threat of college football doesn't feel like it is hanging in peril, yesterday was just a bad day from the news cycle standpoint, that you saw a lot of decisions starting to be made about what it was going to look like in the fall, and the Big Ten I think that Big Ten announcement took some people by surprise. I think
it definitely did. I can't even remember where the original, because I remember asking somebody a question this week, like, if you heard the rumors about the Big Ten, and they were like, no, I want to say maybe it was Nicole Auerbach's Twitter was maybe floating, and I could be wrong, but she is the one who broke the Big Ten news from The Athletic, their national college football writer. She's very good. She's also the one that was kind of in on the Pac-12 news as well, that they're leaning that direction. But either way, it was a rumor that had some traction, but to your point, not as much traction as something that happens, right? Like there was still a good chance that it felt like that didn't happen. Normally, if something's going to come down that big, a ton of people know about it. Not even the group of 5 knew about it. I mean, you had Toledo's AD out there kind of expressing a little frustration with the Big Ten that there wasn't more as we mentioned, the MAC and the Big Ten are so close that there wasn't more collaboration and conversation between the two. So it surprised some people. And to be fair, if I had still in my head thought yesterday that football was going to be played in a fully normal sense, perhaps this would feel more dire to me personally. I think I just already started to mentally prep myself for this being the next step.
On a day that featured a ton of news coming out of the cycle, was there anything more dumb of news coming out than the NFL banning jersey swaps? I mean, like, I thought that was a joke. I really didn't think that was a joke when I read it come across the timeline.
Hey.
Like, after 4 hours of laying on each other and sweating on top of each other, we're not going to allow you to shake hands and exchange jerseys after the game for a picture.
It shows such a, well, I guess to me, yeah, exactly. That's it right there, right? It's such a fundamental disconnect in terms of just logic and like what makes sense. If it's not safe enough to jersey swap, then it's not safe enough to play. To me, that's the funniest part about all of this. I get what they were saying. It's kind of like a path to hell is paved with good intentions. They're trying to say, look at us. We're abiding as much as we can by social distancing and by all these other rules. But like I said, the implication to me in that is that you're saying it's not safe to jersey swap. Well, then if you're saying that, then how the hell are you telling me that they could go out there and be able to play games? So yeah, it's laughable. It's crazy. It's huge disconnect.
All right, we will talk to Hunt Palmer next here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Colada and T-Bob.
Brought to you daily by Donaldsonville Glass and Body, online dgbauto.com. Remember, Donaldsonville Glass and Body, you can find them there at 415 Division Street as Donaldsonville Glass and Body, 24-hour tow truck available as they can come to the accident site, move the vehicle for you. Remember, they if you mention Off the Bench in the month of July, they'll take $250 off of your deductible for that repair, for that collision repair. Online, dgbauto.com.
dgbauto.com, DonaldsonvilleGlassandBody.com. Go there for all of your car needs. Getting a text that actually our guy Cole Cubelic broke it even before Nicole on air. We'll talk to CC about it in hour number 3. And if you're listening and your car starts shuddering, that's not just because you're upset with Cole or college football. That's because you probably need some work. Go into Donaldsonville Glass and Body, tires, wheels, brakes, collision repair, glass, oil change, inspection sticker. It's a literal one-stop shop. The quality of the work is second to none. You can trust them. DonaldsonvilleGlassandBody.com.
Dear Sports is our love letter to sports. Share your Dear Sports letter with us. Call 860-506-6161 and read it to us. Or share a video or text using the hashtag Dear Sports on Twitter or Instagram.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hey, this is Jordy.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder, Her doctor connected her to an Ochsner Care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Ochsner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Football news and the Riot Radio Hours return. Join us Fridays AFR 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Welcome in, Hunt Palmer, every Friday here on Off the Bench. Last Friday we were off celebrating Independence Day, Hunter. Gave you a couple of extra days to get the assignment in. You wanted a classic. We gave you Gladiator. What'd you think about it?
Man, I think our days are really crappy because we can't watch any sports. Then you go from being the Roman emperor to being a slave and having your whole family killed. That's really a rough day.
It's not good. It's not good.
But it was really good. I loved it. It goes. You feel like kind of bad for Commodus that his dad's like, yeah, you suck and you can't be the emperor. I'm just gonna let this other guy do it because he's a lot better. And then you quickly don't feel as bad for him because he's pretty much a terrible dude who wants to sleep with his sister and have everyone killed. But I thought that it was really, really good. I thought the action scenes were great. I thought that the storyline was great. I don't think I'm smart enough to figure out exactly what everyone's plan was, like exactly what Russell Crowe's plan was, and exactly what Joaquin Phoenix's plan was. But I realized that I knew which way they were going. I just didn't know exactly how they were going about doing it. But it was really good. I'm not sure that I love a human's odds with a sword against like 5 guys and 3 tigers, but he made it work.
Yeah, hey. Badass, bro. Is it true that you've not seen Goodfellas?
Of course it's true I've not seen Goodfellas.
Oh, yeah, that should probably be next. Then that's another great one.
Hunt, what did you make of yesterday's news cycle around college football?
I feel like I'm going to be watching these stupid movies and coming on with y'all for like 3 years. That's what I feel like. I'm just sad. I'm like disappointed, and I realize the situation we're in, but I just don't know what we're working towards here. I mean, do we have to have a vaccine to get on with life? I mean, how long is my employer going to be at 25% occupancy? How long until we can go to football games and basketball games and do things normally? It seems like it gets further and further away every time, and I just don't know what we're working towards. It just bums me out.
Hunt, so what do you mean by that? Are you saying that you think that like football's not going to happen at all?
I don't know. Like, I wish I could answer that question. I'm like just a little insurance guy who likes to talk about Jamar Chase on the radio. Like,
yeah.
I'm not smart enough to answer any of those questions. I just want it to get back to normal, and I don't know. Like, this is a terrible example, but it's just kind of the way I feel. It's like whenever just an awful hurricane comes through, and you have to stop life for a little while. You realize that the end is like coming. Okay, we got to rebuild stuff. People's lives got to get back together, but we can get there pretty quickly. This like, what's the end? Like, that's the worst part about this whole deal is we just don't know when this stops, and it affects so many people so many different ways. And I feel like a jerk complaining about sports because, like, how big a deal is that? But
Yeah.
it is kind of a big deal, and I like it, and I just wish it would get back to normal.
Yeah, I know. I feel look. I think that is a completely natural feeling that a lot of people echo during this time. But hey, Hunt, at least you're what? What are we looking at? What's today's date?
July 10th.
The 10th. What is that? 11 days or 14 days? Is it 24th or 21st when the MLB starts?
Quit with your math.
Yeah, stop math. Point is, the Cubs are a couple of weeks away. Hunt, does that give you any solace in these dark times?
It does. It gives me a little bit of solace. I mean, unfortunately, the MLB had some issues the last couple of weeks in getting the players tested before they would go work out. The results were being delayed. Teams were like delaying practice from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. because they couldn't get the testing figured out, and some of the players were irritated about it. But the good news, I guess, from the Cubs' perspective is that nobody tested positive for the Cubs, so they're able to work out. But there was a really kind of a moving deal. The Cubs pitching coach, who's a young man, he's under 40, Tommy Hottie is his name, he got coronavirus a couple months ago, and it was not an asymptomatic, blow this thing off deal. He was sick for 10 days. Didn't go to the hospital, but had aches and pains, and then he had to be away from his kids for a month, and he was talking to some media people about it and, broke down into tears. Like, it's terrible. Like, we have to take this thing seriously. Some people aren't affected by it, but some people are, and you couple the sick, physical feeling with the fact that emotionally you can't be around your kids for a month. It's a bad deal. So everybody needs to take it seriously. And when you hear people like that talk about it, it brings it home a little bit. But hopefully everything's moving forward in the MLB and they can play. I've enjoyed watching some golf over the last couple of weeks, and hopefully the Cubs can get on the field pretty soon because that ratchets up my emotional involvement even more.
Hunt, so I think the safe assumption is that the SEC will end up being SEC only. I just not what you expect will happen, but as a fan, like, what form would you like to see that schedule take?
That's hard, and this is something I talk about on Hester's show all the time, and I don't shy away from it at all. I don't try to. I mean, it's just the way I feel. Every time a rule change happens or some sort of adjustment happens, my immediate thought is, okay, how does this affect LSU's ability to win a championship? And I don't apologize for that at all. I'm not trying to make it a level playing field. I'm not trying to make everybody happy. I only care about what happens to LSU. And if you start playing, LSU, just the SEC, just the Big Ten, just the ACC, just the Pac-12, okay, if I've got to play A&M and Auburn and Florida and Alabama and Tennessee and Ole Miss and South Carolina and somebody over in the ACC, call it North Carolina if they're kind of coming on hot, is playing a bunch of teams that don't have a pulse. If we're going to have a playoff, okay, what's this committee going to look at, and how does LSU's 8-2 against these heavyweights fare up against North Carolina's 9-1 against a bunch? They lose to Clemson and then beat up NC State, Wake Forest, Duke, Georgia Tech, whatever. Who's getting in the playoff? Like, that's I have a warped mind, and it shouldn't function like that. But that's immediately what I go to, because if we're talking about everybody just pulling everybody off the field and not playing or not having a championship, all of a sudden you lose my interest. Like, and I'm not going to spend a bunch of time thinking about it. I'm only going to think about how to win until you tell me that that's not a possibility.
So it does bear mentioning that the college football playoff has said that they are. For now, I mean, they are continuing as normal. And so if you thought it was a subjective process before, to Hunt's point, it could be even more subjective this year. Now, wait, at the end there, though, Hunt, were you saying that if there's no national championship, you're just out? You just don't care? Like, you wouldn't care about the SEC playing a schedule and declaring an SEC champion?
It would feel cheapened if I'm not playing for a national championship and I'm just playing for the conference in front of no fans. I could try to conjure up something, but to not be able to crown a national champion, to me, and this is me talking without having experienced it. Maybe I tune in and we're playing Auburn and, I'm just as keyed up as I was, but it feels like if I'm not working towards winning the whole thing, it's just not quite there for me.
Hunt Palmer joining us here every Friday on Off the Bench. You can find him on Twitter at HuntPalmer88.
It's shocking for a Cubs fan, right? I mean, like, I'm just amazed that you put so much value on championships.
Well, I think we talked about this on Hester's show too. Like, I've never, all four of the teams I pull for theoretically can win the whole thing.
Okay.
LSU football has obviously done it. Baseball has done it. Basketball could. They haven't ever, but it's possible. And then, of course, the Cubs as a professional team can do it as well. I've never lived my life as a Louisiana Tech fan, as someone who, at the end of the day, man, if we could make it to the Heart of Dallas Bowl, that would be great. Like, I don't, that's not how I function. I've never functioned that way.
So, are you mad today?
Why'd you have to do Tech like that, Hunt? They didn't ask for that, dude.
Well, I feel like there's nobody listening that pulls for Tech. So if I start bragging on somebody else from down here, then it'll be worse.
Oh, man. Hunt Palmer joining us here on Off the Bench, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria. Speaking of the teams and the schools that feel like they're in a little bit of trouble this morning are the Louisiana Techs, the ULM. ULM's got Georgia and LSU on the schedule this year. What is that, about $3.5 million worth of buyouts or payouts for that football program, which I'd imagine is the budget for the year? I'm curious of what happens to those teams.
Well, I don't know anything about the coronavirus, and I've never put together a college athletics budget. But what I know is the more you continue to rip away at all these sports, the more people's livelihoods are at stake. If these college athletics programs, Stanford's ripping 11 away, and if you take football off the map and everybody's got to cut all their programs, can we fulfill these scholarships? Are you telling tens of thousands of kids they can't go to college now because they can't have their athletic scholarships and they can't pay for it? Are you telling all these coaches and assistants that they no longer have a job and you got to send them down the river with no money? Like, how many people are we affecting with the budget monetarily? Because, of course, lives are the most important thing, but there's a certain point that you get to where you go, okay, this is inconvenienced and really wrecked tens and hundreds of millions of lives because we're not functioning as a society. And it just, as I said, I don't know anything about vaccines or what the contagious rate is or how many people are getting affected, and I don't know how to put together a budget, but it just feels like there's some other factors here.
What have you made of the PGA without fans, just the product and viewing it?
Well, Bryson's interesting. I mean, he's doing something that no one's ever done, and that makes things interesting. It's weird when he cans a 30-footer on 17 like he did last week to essentially put the tournament nearly out of reach, and he's the only one reacting. But once they get to the majors, it'll be really, really good. And I enjoy just watching the guys hit golf shots. I think the Ryder Cup deciding they're not going to play is not all that surprising because that is the college football event of golf. That is crowd-driven. It's emotion-driven. It's celebrations. It's fist pumps. It's people cheering bad shots, it's booing people, and that needs the environment and the juice of fans. But your normal event like this week and next week at Memorial, it works for me.
Hashtag Ask Hunt, anonymous user. Hunt, who's going to be the Cubs opening day starter?
Yu Darvish will very likely be the Cubs opening day starter. He's the best arm we got.
Hunt Palmer every Friday here on Off the Bench. Have a good weekend. We'll speak to you in a week. Goodfellas is the assignment.
I got it. Thanks, boys. Have a good one.
See you,
all right,
man.
Hunt. Take
There's
it easy,
Hunt
man.
checking in this morning from right here in Baton Rouge. We'll close that hour one next one Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
Central Plumbing Company bringing you OTB Daily here. Remember, online, centralplumbing.org. 925-8552 is the contact number. Store that into your contacts list. 925-8552. 225 area code. You can get in touch with Central Plumbing Company at any point in the day, any time of the week, any day of the year. 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can get in touch with Central Plumbing Company. Online, centralplumbing.org.
Centralplumbing.org, centralplumbing.org. 40 years in the game, my friends. And you don't grow in the way that they do. Humble origins, and now they got a huge fleet that can help you out with anything residentially. Also, if you have an office building or a big business, you need your plumbing needs met. They have the correct insurance, paperwork, and patient personnel to do so. Point being, you don't grow in the way that they have unless your customers are consistently satisfied through the decades. And they've been in it so long, they're so experienced, you cannot hit them with the problem. They don't know how to solve. A one-stop plumbing shop. You already know. Centralplumbing.org, centralplumbing.org.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
If I built a van, It would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Garbar. More reaction to the Big Ten's football news and the Riot Radio Hours return. Join us Fridays AFR 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Body moving, we be body moving, a body moving, we be body moving.
With Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, Fight Island this weekend, UFC 251. Masvidal and Usman is the headliner.
Mm-hmm.
You watching?
I don't want to make any guarantees, but it's about a coin flip. It depends on if I remember and how deep I'm into WoW Classic on Saturday night. Because, as you know, I told you before the show, Mom is leaving town. Talking about my wife. She's taking off. She's getting a girls' weekend. Well-deserved. I've had a couple guys' weekends post-birth, meaning I'm going to have the two daughters all weekend long.
Let's go.
Which I'm looking forward to. I don't think it's a big deal. I'm a beast. And
well, your tone right there seems like you got a little stress on it.
Nope. Not sweating it at all.
I don't think you should.
Super cocky. I'm the man.
Well, easy.
Man,
Easy.
all the poops given to me. I can change them all.
Where are we at? 6 months?
Potty training don't matter.
Youngest?
No. She's almost 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That could humble you there.
No, fam. We good.
Okay.
Either way.
All right.
Either way.
When's she taking off?
About noon today.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you got 3 solid days.
Yeah, I ain't worried about it. I'm telling you, man. I ain't worried about it.
Yeah,
I'm
we
good.
get the drift, bro. We know you're not worried about it. You've said it about 1,000
It's like
times
Zion.
now.
It's like Zion. Hey, I ain't worried about
We
it.
understand, man.
He's good.
We understand.
He's good.
You're relaxed. You're not scared. You're not nervous. You're arrogant. You're cocky. We understand. We get it.
Point being, though,
What time you cracking that tequila?
Yeah, probably about 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
Okay.
And then once they go to sleep, then
Regular
it's just
reports from the neighborhood come in weekly on T-Bob when he's walking his kids around the lake in his hoodie, shooting back a couple of shooters of tequila.
Everybody makes fun of me because I like to wear black tights. Okay, they're really comfortable. I have very thick thighs, and they rub together a lot, which can lead to a couple of things. Chafing being chief among them.
Oof, this is chafe season.
And
too.
and having great black tights helps. Yeah, I might sweat a little more, but overall, it's a net positive. It's wicking away that moisture. It feels great. If you've never put on black tights either, you feel they feel
you just
good.
go tights or shorts over the tights?
Shorts over the tights.
Sure.
Can't be so aggressive. Can't be like walking out like full package. Also,
Good Lord, honey, come see at the window. T-Bob is walking around with just tights and a wife beater shooting tequila, strolling around 2 kids.
I'm also thick enough where a single pair of tights can become see-through very quick when that fabric stretches more and more. And so, yeah, no.
That is a hairy
shorts on.
ass of that big guy.
Yeah, absolutely. That is true. That is true. Starts at the lower back and just goes right down into the crack.
One piece of video
The
we
point
did not
is,
get to.
I may or may not watch Masvidal Saturday night, but I've done it a couple times, these UFC Saturday night fights, and they're great. I sometimes miss sports as the background noise where you can have beers, talk to people, and you're like, oh, look at that. That's crazy. That guy just got knocked the hell out. Like, maybe I'll get some of that this weekend.
Yeah, let's see. One piece of video we did not get to this week has anybody seen the Arik Gilbert pulling the weights up the levee?
I have not.
Danny, have you seen this? I put it inside of the document. It's tagged in the last segment of the first hour. But Gilbert is doing lunges up the levee with 45-pound dumbbells in each hand as he's lunging. He
lunge step-ups, too, hitting a high knee in between every lunge.
He drops the weights halfway up the levee, the 45-pound dumbbells. Halfway up, he drops them because he's got a 45-pound plate tied to his waist behind him that he's dragging. Once he drops the dumbbells, he then moves into a sprint the rest of the way up the levee. And my guy looks like an NFL veteran tight end, not a rookie, not a freshman tight end that has not yet taken a college snap. If you've not seen the video yet, you start to get a glimpse and understand why every coach that has stopped by here over the last month and a half has mentioned the freshman Gilbert, whether they're on the defensive side of the ball or the offensive side of the ball. The coaching staff is fired up to watch this tight end play, and this is just a little piece of video that we've seen from him since he's gotten to a rehab mode after the shoulder surgery in the early parts of spring.
And it kind of looks like maybe he was getting hit up a lot online about, like, what are you doing? Are you working out? Blah, blah, because the caption reads, I've been working. I'm just not with all this social media-ish. Kind of Mike Thomas vibes in that tweet. I'm into that. So, obviously, we're very excited about Arik Gilbert on this program. Speaking of weight vests, those are starting to sweep the suburbs. Got a few dads in the neighborhood who I'm catching now walking around with weight vests on.
Just doing the afternoon walk.
Yeah, just to get a little extra strength. It's not a bad idea. I'm kind of toying with it myself, just though because it's something easy. You're just walking anyway.
Weight vest and tequila.
Hey, that's it, dude. All right, calories in, calories out. Is maintaining an even keel. There's not a lot of calories in ranch water, okay? It's just Topo Chico tequila.
If you go straight weight vest, no undershirt with black tights and a shooter of tequila this
that
afternoon,
extra?
Put that on social media, please, for the weekend, and I'll make it my profile pic for the next 48 hours. I mean, that is incredible.
I don't have a weight vest yet, so I can't do it yet.
Right.
But
Maybe swing by Moffitt, pick one up for the weekend.
He would have one for sure. Old meathead.
Easy there, bro. You are feeling arrogant today. Dr. Loren Scott, the economist, is going to stop by here in a couple of minutes. He'll give us an outlook on what the community could look like without football. T-Bob and I have both been on record here in the first hour. I don't think that proposition exists. I don't think the fall with no football in the SEC is even capable of existing. Just too much money on the line. And we'll talk about the economic impact with Loren Scott, Dr. Loren Scott, coming up here in mere minutes on Off the Bench.
Yeah, the thing that I want to pick her brains on, a couple things, talking about ripple effects, excuse me. But also, I want to know if they do play, but with no fans, what does that economic outlook look like?
Off the Bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection.
Offices in Baton Rouge.
1045 WNXX Jackson, 1049 KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDG.
It is 8 a.m. here on this Friday edition of Off the Bench. 82 2 degrees out in NOLA, 79 in Alexandria, 81 in Baton Rouge, sunny across the board. Coming up on hour number 2, local economist Loren Scott to give us an idea of what the area could look like. Hate to see it without football. Sports attorney Daniel Wallach coming up at 8:15, and you can always follow us at OTB_ESPN on Twitter. You can watch us on YouTube and find the highlights throughout the week as well. This is hour 2 of Off the Bench, presented by All-Star Toyota.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hour 2 off and added off the bench, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 100.3 ESPN Radio down in New Orleans, 94.7 ESPN Alexandria. We're on your smart speakers. We're on YouTube Live this morning. ESPN is the station you can find over on YouTube. Remember, all of our shows will be live there throughout the day. Any highlights, like Dr. Loren Scott coming up here in a couple of minutes, talking about the economic impact, you can find on the Off the Bench YouTube channel. Make sure and subscribe and be alerted there for any type of notifications of content being uploaded so you can keep up with all of what's happening here on ESPN Baton Rouge. Hour 2, we will talk to Daniel Wallach, who will give us some insight on the Zion Williamson case. Hour 3, Cole Cubelic and Andy Staples talking a ton of football. We talked to Hunt Palmer in Hour 1. All of our podcasts and all of our on-demand sound is brought to you by Carriages of Baton Rouge. Make sure and stop in and see Carriages today on the corner of Old Hammond Highway and Jefferson, where they've been since 1982, and they can get you outfitted. If there is a game day, they have that alternate game day logo over there for LSU that you can pick up at carriagesbr.com or online on their social media sites, Facebook and Instagram. Odds are, if you are in the business world in Baton Rouge, in our community, and you have been to any type of luncheon that features a guest keynote speaker, odds are the keynote speaker has been Dr. Loren Scott. He is a well-known economist here in our city who has great experience. He was on the LSU economics department faculty from 1969 through 1998. He was also the chairman of the economics department at LSU from 83 to 96. And now he runs a very successful consulting and speaking firm, Loren Scott and Associates, right here out of the capital city, and he is kind enough to join us here on Off the Bench this morning. Dr. Scott, thank you for your time. Good morning.
Good morning, Jody. How are you?
Doing okay. Can we just talk about what could be if there is no football in our community? We know what it means on a Saturday here in the fall to bring everybody together, to tailgate and everybody enjoying themselves, but what could it look like from an economic impact if those Saturdays do not exist, Doc?
Well, there are 3 groups, Jordy, that are going to get hammered by this, and I mean seriously hammered. One of the groups is anybody that sells stuff to fans. If you think about it for a minute, there are 64 parishes in Louisiana. 49 of them do not have a population as large as what shows up in Tiger Stadium on one of those Saturday nights. And we actually did surveys of fans there to see how much they spend. And over a 7-game home series, they spend about $50 million in the community. So even if they have the football games but don't have fans, this is going to be a big blow to the area. That 7-game home game series is kind of like Christmas to the restaurant industry and to the hotel industry in our community. But there's also the retailers get a lot of money spent the mall gets a lot of money spent. Your clothiers get a lot of money spent that would not be spent otherwise. Gasoline stations, of course, get a lot of money spent. So one of the first things is just the fan spending, which again we estimate at least $50 million over a 7-game series.
So, sorry, Dr. Scott, continue. No, continue.
Well, the second group, of course, is the athletic department. I mean, the whole athletic department really runs off of profits from football. And if they don't have a football season, roughly $30 million in ticket sales another $3 million, let's say, in football parking revenues, another probably $2.5 million in concessions, another $3.5 million in gift center sales. I mean, this is a blow because it turns out the other sports do not make money.
Right.
Football and baseball may come very close, but the only reason that we have a soccer team and a women's softball team, track team, is because it is subsidized by the profits from the football side. So if we don't have a football season, I would hate to have the job as the athletic director. I mean, that is just going to be. I don't know how they're going to do that. Of course, if you're in the Ivy League, you can shut it down and it doesn't matter because they don't have hardly anybody show up and it's not a big deal in their budget. And they've got endowments and things to cover that. But here, it is a big deal. And then the last thing, which one last thing, Cordy, I'm sorry to keep talking so long.
No, go for it.
The last group that a lot of people don't realize are your civic associations, civic groups in the area. Our church runs, for example, a summer camp for kids. Well, we run one of the concession stands, and we get 12% of the revenues off of that concession. This is a very important part of our budget. There's about $1 million a year that's pumped into different kinds of civic associations, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, whatever, through operating these concession stands. And that's another group that a lot of people don't realize that will go away if we do not have a football season. So it is a major issue for our community.
Talking to Dr. Loren Scott on the phone right now here on Off the Bench. And, Doc, that study that the Advocate broke down earlier this week is fascinating, the $50 million that you alluded to. Later in the article, you also talk about ripple effects, right, and trying to figure out not a larger number per se, just trying to figure out the full impact of not having a football season. Give us a little more specificity. You were touching on it there, but how do you determine what are ripple effects? Where do you draw that line, and how do you come up with the number that the kind of full breadth of this could potentially impact?
Well, the first thing we start with in the case of the fan spending is we actually do surveys. We do surveys of fan spending at football games. We did that at two of the football games back during, I think, the 2012 season. And so that's the first thing we get. And then we take that information and we plug it into a tool called an input-output table. And an input-output table enables us to determine the full effect of that spending. For example, if people come here and spend that money, $50 million, that's then going to create new income for people, let's say in restaurants. They then are going to turn around and spend that extra income on grocery stores and car dealerships and movie theaters, and then those people are going to make more money, et cetera. And so this input-output table enables us to figure out the ripple effects. And so that's the tool we use. We use that tool both for the fan spending and the athletic department budget. And basically what it shows is there's about $400 million in sales that occurs in Baton Rouge firms because of the existence of that 7-game series. There's almost $120 million in household incomes that exist in the Baton Rouge area that will not exist if the football season doesn't take place. And there are about 4,000 jobs in the community that can be tied back to the spending that takes place during that 7-game series. So you can tell from these numbers, this is not small. This is a really big decision. And to some extent, if we have the football season, that's one thing. If we have the football season and allow fans to come, that's another thing. That'll help. But still, how many people are they going to? How close are they going to come to filling up that stadium, given that we're having this second wave now? That's really a tricky issue for us.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like you said, the hit is going to be inevitable. I guess it's the extent of the hit that we're all trying to kind of parse through now and try to predict. So what do you think, Dr. Scott, if they were able to have these games, and so you imagine the SEC is able to fulfill like in some form or fashion their TV contracts and get money there, but let's say that fans are not allowed because that seems like it could be very likely. like out of those numbers you just mentioned, do those move at all? Does it get a little better? Like, what are the ripple effects of playing the season, but with no fans in the stadium?
Well, I mean, the first thing you think about is the athletic department budget. I mean, what are they going to do about ticket sales? I assume they're going to have to refund everybody's tickets. That's $30 million at least. They're not going to be football parking revenues, so that's another $3 million. There's going to be no concessions. That's another 2.5. I mean, you're starting to add up numbers here that make you wonder how the athletic director is going to support the whole athletic system. So it's not just the football season that's online here; it's all the other sporting events as well. So it's just kind of almost inconceivable that we're facing this, but everything's been inconceivable this spring, summer, hasn't it? It's just been really, really strange. Hey, Jordy, I think your audience might be interested in one other thing we found in this study. I know a lot of people look at coaches' salaries, like Coach O getting about $7 million a year or so. So, how could he possibly be worth that? But one of the things we did is we looked at the impact on the athletic budget of having a 5-win season versus a 9-win season.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my gosh. It is multi-millions of dollars. If you go back to that early 90s period when we were winning like 3 and 4 and 5 games a year,
right,
and then we went to winning 9, I mean, these coaches are worth every penny if they can take us up to 9, 10, or in our case, 15-win season.
Wow.
So they are totally worth that amount of money.
Dr. Loren Scott with,
really
as
good
always,
point.
great insight. Yeah, that is a very good point that you never think about. And I know, Doc, you always, when I hear you speak, you're always thinking, speaking of the economic impact and the future. So right now with our state, oil and gas in the tank, casinos have been shuttered. There are businesses that are permanently closing now with football hanging in the balance. Having said all that, what do you imagine Louisiana looks like in the upcoming years? Is there a light at the end of the tunnel, or is this, are we kind of destined after the last couple of months to be permanently in the dweller?
Well, actually, we're beginning our work on the 2021, 22, the 21 and 22 forecast. Our team will start working on that. Matter of fact, we've already started working on it this month. We'll work on it all the way through August, and we'll release our forecast in September. I think we can roughly tell you already that we will come out of it. It'll be more of a, not like a V, but like a Nike, what I call a Nike recovery. The Nike swoosh, it goes down sharply and then slowly comes back. It's not like a V. I think it's going to be more of a Nike recovery, and I think it's going to be a little more difficult for Louisiana because of the oil and gas side. Oil prices are still, they're fortunately come up a lot since bottoming out in the teens. They're now up around $40, $41 a barrel. So that's helping, but it's got to go up a lot further than that to get the Gulf of Mexico going again and getting Houma and Lafayette going again. So it is going to be tough. Now, the good news is before we went into this thing, you went back to February and looked at our forecast for the U.S. economy, the Louisiana economy. It was really good. The underlying fundamentals of the economy were very, very good. As a matter of fact, we were in our 127th month of economic growth nationally, a record level of growth. The basic underlying fundamentals of the economy were good, and everybody was saying it's going to continue through 2021 unless we have an external shock. Well, we got 2 external shocks. We got the coronavirus and we got the oil price thing. But if we can just get a vaccine, we can get something that will stop this sucker in its tracks. Again, the underlying fundamentals are very good, and we can come back. But we've created a lot of financial issues right now for all kinds of firms, and that's going to make it, I think, more of a Nike recovery than a V recovery.
LorenScottAssociates.com. Dr. Loren Scott, anybody who has any type or anybody who needs any type of economic information on our state and our city, he is the authority. Dr. Loren Scott with a couple of minutes with us here this morning on Off the Bench. We appreciate your time. Have a good weekend.
Okay, Jordy, you too, Bob.
Thank you. There he is, Dr. Loren Scott checking in from Baton Rouge this morning. Dire numbers to think about our community without college football. We will continue Off the Bench next.
I guess the most dire part is even with college football, but without fans, it sounds like the impact could even be pretty extreme. So I don't know, man. I don't know. That didn't make me feel that much better, but thank you to Dr. Scott. Some incredible information there.
Off the Bench with Jordy Culotta and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All-Star Toyota brings you Off the Bench daily here. Remember, online, All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. You can log online and shop all the inventory there, whether you're looking for a certified and pre-owned vehicle or if you're looking for a brand new model. You can shop everything online at All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. If you're still quarantined right now, remember, during the height of quarantine, All-Star Toyota was showing off their customer service, and they're continuing to do that. They will bring you vehicles that you're interested in test driving. You can do all the paperwork, the majority of it online and at your home. All of that can be found out online at All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com.
That's right. You want an Avalon, a 4Runner, Avalon Hybrid, Camry Hybrid, Tundra, Sienna, whatever you need, All-Star Toyota has it. And they've got great deals, 0% APR financing on many vehicles, cash back on others. They have new, they have used. You need a rent for the weekend. You need a scheduled service. Any of your Toyota needs. Maybe you don't even know what you want. Let them be your guide. They'll find you the vehicle that'll make you happy. Go to allstartoyotabatonrouge.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. More reaction to the Big Ten's football news and the Riot Radio Hours return. Join us Fridays AFR 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, that was good stuff from Dr. Loren Scott. Told you he is the authority on pretty much everything from an economic standpoint here in our community and our state. It's pretty sobering news, man.
I would say sobering's the right word. For sure.
If you missed it, go check it out. It's brought to you by Carriages of Baton Rouge. Yesterday, we saw some news come out concerning Zion Williamson and Daniel Wallach, who is a lawyer down in the state of Florida. He's over in Hollandale Beach, Florida. He's a gaming law and sports betting attorney. He is the CEO and president of Wallach Legal LLC. He's on Twitter at Wallach Legal. Daniel Wallach had the news yesterday about Zion Williamson's latest. As we heard it yesterday, come out that Zion's stepdad, Lee Anderson, who has been a guest on this show, talking about Zion soliciting $400,000 in a payment from a marketing agent back in October of 2018. This was before Zion's only season in Durham, North Carolina, playing for Krzyzewski and the Duke Blue Devils. Gina Ford, who is the attorney, says that the affidavit and exhibit show that Williamson was ineligible when he played for Duke that one season and that his stepfather, Lee Anderson, had received impermissible benefits. Daniel Wallach had some of that yesterday on his Twitter account, the letter of declaration sitting next to Zion's South Carolina driver's license, and there's a lot of debate on social media whether or not it is real or fake. And Daniel Wallach is joining us now here on Off the Bench to talk a little bit about it. Daniel, thank you for your time. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Jordy. Thanks for having me on. This story keeps getting crazier, doesn't it, by the day?
It absolutely does, and we're kind of we're in a tough spot. We love Zion, obviously, with him being in New Orleans, right down the road from us, and we're pulling for him.
The legend.
And we can't stand Duke and Krzyzewski because of how fake they are. So we'd love to see them get in trouble. What are the parameters of this case? As it gets weirder, what is happening?
Well, okay. Well, first of all, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I don't think that this case will end up leading to sanctions for Duke or.
Thank you for joining us, Daniel. We'll call you. We'll touch base soon. No, I'm kidding, man. Thank you.
This stems back a year a year ago when Zion Williamson signed a contract with a marketing agent. Around the time he declared for the NBA draft, it was a terrible agreement in the sense that it gave Gina Ford basically perpetual rights to Zion Williamson's marketing deals. She basically had her hooks into him for his entire career. He sued to break the contract by claiming that the contract violates this North Carolina law, which requires agents to register with the state of North Carolina before they engage with student athletes and before they recruit student athletes. His allegation was that she was never registered, and that is definitely an established fact. So her efforts in the recent months have been to try to nullify his status as a student athlete so as to ensure that this North Carolina law does not come into play, because it only applies to protect student athletes. And if he received improper benefits from the very beginning of his career at Duke, then at no time during the freshman year at Duke was he, quote unquote, a student athlete. And if that's the case, then he cannot avail himself of this North Carolina statute, and he would therefore be stuck with this contract. However, the status of being a student athlete on under the North Carolina law does not turn only on whether one is eligible to play. It also is granted to anyone who engages in intercollegiate athletics. So his attorneys have argued that none of this stuff really matters. It's irrelevant because his engagement and participation in the games is what created the status of student athlete. And I believe that they are correct, and that this North Carolina federal judge will eventually or soon grant Williamson a victory in the case. There's a motion to enter judgment pending, which argues that point.
Yeah, and so as I understand, I mean, that law that you're alluding to that Gina Ford and her side are trying to use is actually a law that is put into place in theory to protect the student athlete. I mean, you would potentially be opening up a bit of a wormhole, right, if you're allowing the agents then to retroactively use that law for their own benefit. Like, yeah, I know I broke the rules, but hey, look, it's on this kid.
Yeah, that's why it's called the Uniform Athlete Agents Act. It protects student athletes. It does not protect agents.
Yeah.
And it's a strict liability provision. The fact that she's not registered and is doing business with a student athlete, it's case over as far as I'm concerned. Based upon my reading of the facts and the law, and if she can get away with a maneuver like this, what would stop all future agents?
Yeah, exactly.
Who are in contractual disputes with student athletes from pulling the same maneuver? It would undermine the public policy behind the act, which is to protect student athletes from unscrupulous agents.
Daniel Wallach joining us here, giving us insight on the latest on Zion's case. He's on Twitter at Wallach Legal. I'm looking at your Twitter account right now, and you have the letter of declaration sitting side by side of a picture of South Carolina driver's license issued to Zion Williamson, and you're asking whether or not it looks real or fake. And I got to be honest, it looks fake.
Fraudulent.
The license does. I can't imagine a lawyer. You're in the industry. You could speak more to this. Putting his license in jeopardy by submitting fake documentation like this. What would be the consequence if this turns out to be fake?
Well, first, the lawyer is not asserting these as true facts. The lawyer is presenting an affidavit presented by a witness who has come forward, and that witness is coming forward under penalty of perjury. So I think there might be reasonable reliance on a third-party witness. It's just that the credibility of this third-party witness is in question because, as all the internet detectives on Twitter pointed out yesterday, there are a number of red flags regarding this so-called driver's license. And the driver's license was used to establish sort of that Williamson was in fact the person who signed this agreement. Sometimes when you sign contracts, you provide your driver's license. When you go to the doctor's office and you present your insurance ID card, you have to show your driver's license. So they've put this driver's license up as proof to establish that Williamson did in fact sign the agreement. However, the driver's license presents Williamson's photo vertically rather than horizontally, and all the internet detectives who are from South Carolina have pointed out a number of discrepancies on this license, the most glaring of which is that the governor listed at the bottom of the license was Nikki Haley, who left office 6 months before that driver's license was issued.
Oh, man.
Ooh, big oof.
That's a big one.
Okay.
That's not good. That's not good.
Yeah, any one discrepancy can be explained away, I suppose. But when there are 4 or 5 of them, and most of all, many of the Zion Williamson memorabilia collectors who have his autographs have called into question, the legitimacy of whether the autograph signature on it is in fact authentic. And then when you peel the onion or peel the layer, a little bit more and look at the backgrounds of some of the individuals who are supposedly these marketing agents, they have very sketchy backgrounds. One of them was charged with murder back in the 1980s. He was acquitted, of course.
What?
And then the other marketing agent, Zlatko Durek, allegedly pulled the same scheme on Luka Doncic with forgeries of signatures. So there are so many questions, and I think at this point, the sentiments may lie more with Williamson of all the questions that are raised by this last-second affidavit. And from a legal perspective, this may all be irrelevant because, as I mentioned earlier, one's status as a student-athlete is not solely on eligibility. It's also through participation in the games. And this may be a Hail Mary that's a little bit too late because the pleadings, or at least the briefing on this particular motion have been closed for quite some time. And Gina Ford's attempt.
Daniel, we're losing you. We're losing you in a cell area there. But the information that you gave us this morning was fantastic. We will continue to promote your website and on Twitter. That's Daniel Wallach checking in from Florida this morning, giving a little insight on the latest on Zion Williamson. We'll continue off the bench.
Hey, hold on. How you feeling on the other side of that interview?
Well,
I mean, it's
my angle has always been trying to get Duke in hot water.
And this was okay. So you don't have to feel bad because this was never necessarily going to be that, right? If anything, Duke could have claimed victim status for this because they could have been like, I mean, here we are, and they're trying to make our athletes ineligible and get us in trouble. Why are people doing this to us? So it's okay. You still got to hope that Duke will get busted one day, but I don't believe that this is it, unfortunately.
But you shouldn't try to make this a me versus Zion because that's not the case.
No, I agree.
I'm not,
but that's what I'm saying.
not.
But this particular case was never this was never going to go against Duke anyway.
Anytime I see the red flags come up around Zion and his college status, I'm just going at it.
Just
going at it, bro. I'm looking for an angle to see if we can't be the news breaking source of Duke finding trouble in college basketball. And while everybody finds out that K ain't running that shop, that it ain't all about the brotherhood over in Durham.
Oh,
off the bench, rolling on.
Hey, Big Z's fine though.
Off the bench with Colada and T-Bob.
Coy's Diesel. Remember online at coysdiesel.com. Over at Coy's Diesel, they can get you taken care of today if you need a technician or maintenance done on your light, medium, or heavy-duty diesel truck. Coy's Diesel can get you taken care of. In fact, if you're having issues with your diesel truck but can't afford the downtime, call today to schedule your same-day diagnostics. If you need maintenance, Coy's Diesel has techs available all day to take care of your maintenance needs. Drive up with no appointment necessary. Online, coysdiesel.com.
Coysdiesel.com, coysdiesel.com. It's right there in the name, right? Diesel, okay? So for all of your diesel vehicle needs, you should go to Coy's. They're the experts. It's what they do. If you get a computer fix, you go to a computer repairman, right? You need your plumbing fix, you go to a plumber. You need your diesel vehicle fixed, you go to Coy's Diesel. Or maybe you want to shop by part, you're do-it-yourselfer. They got parts for any diesel vehicle that you need going all the way back to the 90s. You can also get 24/7 emergency roadside assistance. coysdiesel.com, coysdiesel.com.
Sports will be back.
But for now, we're all rooting for a different kind of hero.
Let's embody the best parts of sports.
Teamwork,
sacrifice,
resilience,
one goal, together.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family comfortable for over 25 years.
And T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I appreciate our last guest stopping by, Daniel Wallach, giving us a little insight on the latest on Zion in his case, as Zion and the Pelicans get ready for life in the bubble. As we let you hear David Griffin in headlines, he was speaking with our affiliate down in New Orleans, 100.3 ESPN Radio, as he was on with the guys yesterday, talking about getting ready for life in the bubble and what some of that would look like. Kay, this will be some of the David Griffin sound from yesterday. If you want to look at it and grab number 2 here of him talking about life in the bubble a little bit more.
But once you get away from that and you get back into your room and you start to really focus on the task at hand, I think it's actually been really overblown in terms of how difficult this first quarantine period was going to be. The food's excellent, albeit presented in a different fashion. But I think guys are doing really well. I think as we come out of this, I think we're all going to be really grateful for the opportunity to interact with one another. But I think this has been a fine period of time.
Alvin Gentry made some news earlier this week as he was cleared medically to travel with the team to Orlando and take part in the resumption of the NBA season. Here was a statement from the president, David Griffin, talking about Gentry with the Pels.
Yeah, I think he was very concerned, and I think his primary concern was just to make sure the guys didn't feel like he was abandoning them, and I don't think anybody would have believed that. I'm glad that the league, through the additional medical hoops they made him leap, got more comfortable with his participation. But I think from the very beginning we were of the mindset that it would be difficult for Alvin to be excluded, and we're just grateful that it worked out the way it did.
I'm not a doctor. I'm going to take this 1-1. It does seem, if you're in good shape, you just give yourself a better chance of good immune system, all that stuff, and being able to weather these sort of things. And Alvin Gentry looked like he's in great shape right now when he did that kind of return press conference a week back. So yeah, it's not surprising, but it's nice to hear it's confirmed that the big man's going to be back.
This is a longer sound bite, but here's Griffin speaking about what the schedule is going to look like for the Pels over the next couple of days.
Yeah, so I think in terms of what we're going to do, it'll be very similar to yesterday when we arrived. We did a PCR test from a virus perspective. We will do a similar test this evening in about an hour, and provided that one is negative for all of us, we'll be able to advance to getting into a physical practice tomorrow. Our bus will leave at 1:30 in the afternoon, and that would be after they serve us our breakfast and our lunch at the door. So then we would go to practice. I don't know which gym we're in tomorrow, to be honest with you. But we'll actually get on the table and in the weight room sort of in stages, because again, they want us to be as distanced as possible for those, for those exercises. And then we'll actually have a full team practice beginning at 3:00. You get 3 total hours of practice. So we have the weight room in the gym from 2 until 5. And I believe at 3 o'clock we'll actually be able to all walk on the floor together. But
So Griffin and the Pels getting back to work for a little miniature training camp before the season resumes at the end of the month. So New Orleans is down in Orlando, getting prepared for that. Hour 3, T-Bob is going to talk a lot of college football with you. Cole Cubelic is going to lead you off at 9 o'clock. At 9:30, Andy Staples from The Athletic is going to stop by and speak about the state of the game after yesterday's announcement from the Big Ten 48 hours ago, the Ivy League calling it off, and 247 Sports reporting that the SEC is working down the road of working into a Southeastern Conference schedule only for football season. But Hour 3 will also feature a list of the greatest villains in movie history. Is that the title of the list?
It says we are now. I want to be clear too. Now that this has exploded in the way that it has, I don't think that this is a one-day affair. This will probably be a working list over the next couple of weeks as we add to it from take away, try to see some of the movies that I have not seen. This is now becoming a comprehensive list. We probably got about 100 villains on the lineup right now.
Is this going to be all of Hour 3 or just a segment?
No, that's what I'm saying. I have them pre-ranked. We're gonna try to make the top category, S category, very elite, right? The thing is, all of these are good villains. So that's what people have to have up front.
Yeah, but we don't want good.
You might love Bane from Batman. I have him in the D tier on this list. You might love Sauron from Lord of the Rings. I have him on the D tier on this list. You might love Biff Tannen. I have him on the B tier on this list. So yes, it's going to get intense. It's going to be a long conversation, not just today. We will continue to modify and move around this list. I will entertain arguments. I know that Danny has already had some exceptions with some of my rankings here early on. And
Open up that microphone, Danny. What's the problem?
We will see where we land. We're going to use the scientific process.
What's the issue?
No, I mean, we're going to talk about more in throughout 3. I mean, I personally would put Leonardo DiCaprio and Django Unchained. I'd put him like A tier.
That's Calvin Candy.
Yeah, Calvin Candy, yeah.
How many in the S
I have
list?
him in the C.
How many in the S tier right now?
Right now there's 7 including.
7?
And 7's too many.
7 could be too many.
I want S to be truly elite.
Even on 100 tier list, even on a 100 name list, 7 is too many.
I'm looking, you know how didn't 247 redo their 5 stars?
1 or 2.
I'm going with 5. I'm going to give out 5, I think. Now I don't want to be completely arbitrary, but 5 seems to be where it be. But
is it okay if he gives me the 7 names?
Yeah.
Are you okay with that? All right, give me the 7 names. Give me the 7 names.
Right
in the
now
S
we
list.
got Joker from Heath Ledger.
Yep.
And then
Check.
we got the second guy. I'll just put it on the screen right now. T-Bob.
I got him right here.
Second guy.
Yeah, so we got Joker. Okay, that's Bill the Butcher
Yeah,
from
Bill the
Gangs in New
Butcher.
York. Daniel Day-Lewis, epic. We got Hannibal Lecter, obviously. We got Hans Landa, Christoph Waltz from Inglourious Bastards. We have Javier Bardem, Antoine, what's his name in No Country for Old Men?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have Jaws. Hey. Did you get scared of swimming? Did you get scared of swimming after you saw Jaws? Did Jaws not scare an entire generation away from the beach?
You know who I don't see on
and
here?
then we have Ivan Drago.
Anywhere.
Where?
And I could possibly be an S member.
Where? Who?
It's Christian Bale from American Psycho.
Okay. So I want to be okay. So let me lay out a few of the ground rules here.
I mean, definitely above Jaws.
It is movie only. Okay. First off, that's a terrible take. No. Second off,
is it, Dan? Is that a terrible take?
I mean,
it's a killer.
Dude, this is.
No, I mean,
don't be nice to me. You can punch me in the face. Hit me. Is that a bad take?
No, I mean, I don't really
killing people.
I don't really view Christian Bale as a villain. I
so that's what else I was going to say.
In
If you're
American Psycho?
he's a terrible guy, but if you're the protagonist of the movie, if you're the main character, you're ineligible for the list. So that's
Okay.
why Joaquin Phoenix.
That's
why Joaquin Phoenix Joker is not on here.
CV
It's not
nodded.
just bad guys.
CV nodded.
Okay, but answer this question: if he was on the list, American Psycho or Jaws as the bigger villain?
I mean, the dude killed people.
Thank
Listening
you,
to Huey
thank
Lewis.
you,
Jaws
CV.
killed people.
Listening to Huey Lewis.
I don't think that makes you a villain though if you kill people.
Yeah, Jaws killed people. I mean,
he was
Dexter,
laying down Visqueen before the dates, for God's sake.
Wait, and also, this is what I'm always
Sports
unclear.
was a great album.
But this is what I'm always unclear on in
But
American
at the end,
Psycho.
he's like, I don't know if it really happened.
Did he actually kill anyone?
Yeah.
That's the big question with
What
American
did your
Psycho.
eyes tell you?
But what did your eyes tell what did his crazy mind tell me? He fantasized about it. I don't know that he actually did it or not.
Is that an eggshell card?
Either way, he is a God. The card scene is so good, dude. So like what a psycho.
The card is so great.
And look, I have not seen all movies. Like there's some like I have not seen the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies since I was a little kid, so I can't say where Shredder is. I haven't seen Karate Kid, so I can't put Johnny in there. I know everybody. Now, Kate, this is where I'm going to rely on you.
Wasn't Jaws the main character?
Who in Karate Kid?
Jaws? In Jaws.
No. What's his name is the main character?
Yeah, that guy.
Richard. Who's the
Richard Dreyfuss?
No, not Richard Dreyfuss. God, who's the main character? The sheriff.
I need a bigger gun, guy.
The sheriff. We're going to need a big gun. You're falling around. Yeah.
I got you.
Kate, what do you think about where should Johnny or the evil master from Karate Kid rank on this list?
I don't think I can put him at the very top.
Not an S member.
Not an S member.
Okay.
Looking at your list, I'm trying to look at the letters there.
It's S-A-B-C-D.
I feel like it's an eye test for me from the doctor's office. So
Take your glasses off.
Yeah, Danny. Maybe for the stream viewers, even if you could zoom in a little more, maybe even.
I think Johnny could be a B.
Mm-hmm.
I think Johnny could be a B.
Okay, that works. What about I've never seen The Patriot? A lot of people mentioning the actor who plays Lucius Malfoy, also the bad guy in The Patriot. I've never seen Whiplash, which I've heard is incredible. I've actually
super good movie.
Yeah, I've actually never seen. And J.K. Simmons is supposed to be a really good kind of villain teacher in that. And then I've never seen 2001: Space Odyssey, so I don't know how to rank Hal either. And for a nerd like me, not seen Space. I've never seen Zoolander, so I can't rank Bugado.
Your boy. Nightmares about this cat.
Anton, and for those listening, Jordy's pointing to
Javier?
Yes.
Javier Bardem and No Country for Old Men. To me, my guaranteed S tier right now, if I had to choose personally, feels like Heath Ledger, Joker, Hannibal Lecter, Hans Landa, and the No Country for Old Men guy. And that's 4 right there. And if
That's
I'm saying
4
only
solid.
5 slots, we got some cuts to make.
Sounds
But
like,
let
American
you know,
Psycho.
give me your cases as well. What do you think? Where should everybody rank, and we'll kind of bust out and go down this list. Where would you rank the T1000 from T2? Shape-shifting metal. I put him in the A tier. Couldn't quite go S with him, but just visually, intimidatingly, epic fight scenely, he left quite a legacy.
All right, is that 9:15?
Yeah, I think we're going to do that at 9:15.
9:15. All right, OTB, we'll close that hour 2 next.
Off the bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
Lanois Insurance Agency brings you OTB Daily here. Remember, online, LANOIXagency.com. Call Randy, Brian, and David this morning, 749-5640. Bundle up all your insurance, all of your insurance for monthly savings. Business insurance, auto insurance, home insurance, flood insurance. I've got my auto, home, and flood bundled up for monthly savings. I heard Jimmy Ott telling a story last night on Game Night, baby, that Lanois Insurance saved him $2,000 on his homeowner's insurance once they did once they came in for the quote. All online, LANOIXagency.com.
Yeah, I mean, actually, right before all the pandemic stuff broke out, Lanois just randomly called me and said, hey, look, we found a way to save you a few $100s. Said, yeah, man, go ahead, because that's what they do. They actively work to get you the best possible coverage so you have peace of mind while getting you at the best possible price so you're comfortable with it. Like, that's all you want from your insurance agency, and they do it the best. So go to LanoisAgency.com today.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas.
and I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Crime has serious
Bobby Bear, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I appreciate all the interaction throughout the week. Today's show, remember YouTube, Off the Bench, we're there. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge is where the YouTube channel will be live all day. So all shows will originate on YouTube's YouTube's 104.5 ESPN page, and then show highlights like Dr. Loren Scott this morning, who talked about the economic impact of what the community could look like without football. A lot of good reaction from that conversation, whether it was inside the huddle or got a couple of text messages off the air speaking about how insightful Dr. Scott was. You can check that out. That will be housed on Off the Bench's YouTube page. So the shows will run live all throughout the day on ESPN Baton Rouge, and then the highlights from all the particular shows will be on their pages. So
it makes sense.
Dr. Loren Scott, Daniel Wallach, Hunt Palmer will all be on OTB's page from today. Also, Cole Cubelic and Andy Staples coming up in the third hour.
Yeah, 104.5, the YouTube channel 104.5 is like essentially now just like a TV channel that all day will have your live and local shows. You can just search 104.5 YouTube. It's the third result down, or if you do 104.5 ESPN YouTube, it's the first result. We do have a big hour 3 coming up, though. We're going to kick things off with Cole Cubelic. We bumped him back a little bit, get his reaction to the news from yesterday, what it means for the SEC as he broke the news, according to what somebody has told us. I'll ask him about how he broke that news. And then Andy Staples going to drop in as well. And I know that Andy, while we will touch on him with some college football, he seems even more excited to give us some input on the villain tier list. I want your input as well. As I said, this is not a one-day thing. We will continue to modify and codify this list until we have the single best movie villain tier list on the entire internet. So join me in this venture. Jordy, have a great weekend. What do you got on the docket?
Relaxing. A lot of relaxing.
Yeah.
This weekend. Just kind of catching up from last weekend. This week has been pretty crazy and wild and fast. So I'm just going to kick it this weekend, man. No real plans.
Nice.
Actually. Try to get poolside.
Okay.
Enjoy this weather.
Yeah, right on. Sounds good.
How about you?
Just kids. Yeah, just kids. Just kids.
That you're not worried about. No
Not worried.
stress.
No stress at all.
Everything's good.
Kids in WoW Classic. That's going to be it.
Everything's
for your boy this
good over
weekend.
at the Abear House. Cade, good to see you this week, big fella.
Yes, sir.
Dan Cardenas, I am out of here. 9 a.m. OTB rolls on for another hour. I'll be back with you 7 a.m. on Monday morning. Have a good weekend. All-Star Toyota.
Off the bench with Colada and T-Bob.
Secure Shredding and Recycling brings you Off the Bench daily here. Remember, the entire listening area, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles, New Orleans, they can service you today. Online, secureshreddingandrecycling.com, your document destruction specialist. Whether you're looking for mobile shredding, if you need to drop off shredding, hard drive destruction, they can get that done for you today. In fact, if you need hard drives mashed up, and you mentioned Off the Bench, the first 2 hard drives will be destructed for free.
Bam!
Over at Secure Shredding and Recycling. Find them online at secureshreddingandrecycling.com.
That's right, Danny. You need those hard drives taken care of. You go to secureshreddingandrecycling.com, mention OTB, first 2 for free. But it's not just hard drives. It's any document destruction needs that you may have. Look, ultimately, this is a service business, and they understand that they are there to serve you, and they are hyper-local LSU grads. They're going to give you a better rate than the national guys will and better communication. They're the best. SecureShreddingRecycling.com.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
WNXX Jackson, 1049 KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour is brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers.
It is hour 3 of Off the Bench here on this Friday, Off the Bench OT. 80 degrees in Alexandria, 84 down in NOLA, 83 here in the capital city. Coming up this hour, the SEC Network's Cole Cubelic leads things off here at 9 o'clock. 9:30, Andy Staples from The Athletic, and we tier our movie villain list. This, right now, coming up on Off the Bench. Don't forget, you can watch us on YouTube, the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube page. Subscribe. You'll watch all the live shows throughout the day, and you'll catch highlights on the show individual pages like Off the Bench, presented by All-Star Toyota. And hour 3 begins now.
OTB, OT, with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey. What's up, y'all? Welcome in. OTB, OT. T-Bob Hebert, Cave Wazan, Danny Cardenas hanging out with you today. Cole Cubelic coming up now. Andy Staples later. Making our movie villain tier list. Cole, I'll start right there. Who is your favorite movie villain of all time?
It's the Predator, man. It's
Okay.
not even close. First off,
Okay.
Predator.
State your case, because we only have 5 S tier slots available. That is the highest tier of villain. And right now, we already got 7 names there. I think I got the Predator checking in on the B tier. Why should Predator be top tier?
Let's just think about what this guy was capable of first and foremost. I mean, he can throw blades out of his arm.
Yeah.
He's got claws of a honey badger that he can rake you with if he needs to.
That's fair.
He's got a bomb attached to himself if he just needs to go kamikaze.
Pragmatic.
He's got a laser gun on his shoulder with a laser scope that he can point on you, and he can blast you with that thing.
It's pretty sick.
I mean, he's obviously got dreadlocks and a cool mask. And by the way, he can become
that's fair too.
He can become invisible whenever you need him to. I mean, that's quite the advantage.
But now, for all of that technological prowess, is it not a bit of an oversight that covering yourself in mud can render you invisible to his thermal vision?
Listen, I mean, I'm not. You look at that as a negative. I say Arnold Schwarzenegger is the greatest action film hero in the history of all of cinema. So you look at that as a negative. I look at that as a positive. Is the only person that could take you down. Look what he ran through. I mean, he ran through Billy. He ran through
Jesse the Body
Gatling
Ventura.
Gun, Jesse the Body Ventura. I mean, he put the whole of a side of a crater in Jesse the Body Ventura's chest.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he had at least 7 million rounds unloaded on him in like a 3-minute span in the jungle and got hit by one bullet.
So I'm so happy that you just brought that scene up, because
It's the best scene in the history of action film.
I just watched Predator again, really for the first time since I was a little kid, like 2 weeks ago. And during that scene, when what's-his-name starts blowing up the jungle, I thought for sure his boys were going to run over there and be like, whoa, what are you doing? You're freaking out. No, I could not have been more wrong. They ran over, and everybody started blowing up the jungle. I mean, they probably shot like 2,000 rounds.
We don't even know what we're shooting at, but let's make sure we have no rounds left for when this thing comes back to try to get us again.
It's unbelievable.
Brilliant strategy, but
and everybody's hip firing.
How many movies do we have an individual holding a Gatling gun and just unloading it for a good 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Come on.
I do love the aggressive nature of how Arnold holds an M4 as well, essentially holding it like it's a dirty, hairy pistol. It just so he can show off his buys.
Yeah, he just hits and drops the clips out, new clip going in. I mean, it's just, grenade launcher guy is just going one after another, after another, after another. It's just, it's the greatest film. It's the greatest scene in the history of action film, maybe in just movie period.
Hey.
I mean, I'll go that far.
Okay, Cole making the
we
case.
Didn't go to the fact that the dude's got the I guess what we call him, the organism he's got a first aid kit on his wrist.
He does.
He just pulls a bullet out of his leg. I mean, come on. He's the greatest villain. He doesn't even have to talk, and he's the greatest villain in the history of it.
Okay, look, so maybe he gets bumped up to A tier. I don't know that I'm convinced to S, but I love your passion, Cole.
Who's A tier right now? Darth Vader deserves to be there. I'm pretty sure I saw it.
He is in there. The thing is, though, to go through this right now, we have over 100 names on the list already. And so we have like Joaquin Phoenix in Gladiator and Michael Shannon in Shape of Water and Vader's in the A tier and Agent Smith from The Matrix is in the A tier. Regina George from Mean Girls, the T-1000 from T2. Kathy Bates in Misery, definite A tier. I mean, who wants their ankles snapped over their knees or whatever over that wooden block? That's one of the most horrifying things I've ever seen in my life. And then I have the little girl from The Exorcist in the A tier as well.
Yeah, it's a little scary. Here's the way that I would qualify this if I were you. If I were putting this list together on my radio show.
Let's hear it.
And I'm going to probably exclude my entry into this just because Predator is my favorite movie of all time, so I'm always going to go there. This should go back to like 80s pro wrestling. The people who should be in your A block on this list, they should be characters that forced you to hate them when you watch the movie. Like there's a lot of movies that you can watch and just not really like I can watch Nightmare on Elm Street and I don't really have like a passionate hatred for Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, but then Freddy's terrifying though. He's funny, but he's terrifying.
But he doesn't make you dislike him. Like Jason Voorhees, I actually kind of respect Jason Voorhees. Like, I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street in New York or whatever it was, he literally pulled like a Jax from Mortal Kombat and punched the dude's head off of his shoulders. Like, you kind of respect that. Like the Kathy Bates character in Misery, like you said, like that is terrifying, and like Regina George makes you not like her.
Yeah.
So if you can go like Iron Sheik or Nikolai Volkov as a movie character, that's what I think should put you in.
I like that. I'll throw it in the metrics. I'm trying to avoid too codified of an approach. I do want this to be somewhat instinctual, and I want it to be like a grab bag of elements. Like, was this just a character that you beloved combined with being an effective villain? And efficacy is one thing, right? Like, how effective was the villain in the actual movie? How much does that matter? I think it varies from case to case. But you've stated a very good case for Predator, and I think you've given us some stuff to think about. And like I said earlier, this is not a dictatorship. I want this to be a collaborative approach so that we can all come together and find the best tier list for movie villains on the entirety of the internet.
I mean, staying on Schwarzenegger movies, I don't know if you've seen Commando. But
I have not. I have not. That's on my movie list that I have not seen, unfortunately.
God, you haven't seen it. It's okay. You get with the program here.
I know.
You're going to see the villain. I can't remember his name, but he legitimately wears a black fishnet tank top around for the entire movie.
The 80s were a weird time, it seems like.
Kind of pulls it off a little bit. I'm going to be honest. He kind of makes it happen. He carries a buck knife around, like that's his go-to weapon, and he wears a fishnet tank top.
Nobody wears a fishnet crop top better than Saints Hall of Fame kicker Morton Anderson. For whatever reason, in the 80s, he became a sex symbol in New Orleans and had an entire ad campaign or a calendar shoot. And one of the shots was him leaning up against a locker in a mesh crop top. And I've always found that to be one of the funniest football-related pictures I've ever seen.
Let's keep going down this road. Have you seen Running Man?
No, I've not seen Running Man.
Good God. What are you doing with your life?
I was born in 89, dude.
You call yourself a movie guy. And here's what you're going to find out. This is what you're going to find out with the brilliance of Arnold Schwarzenegger and the people who helped him create his brilliant movies back in the 80s. Is every single one of them has been ripped off and redone, and people think that that's the original one. So you're going to watch Running Man, and you're going to sit there, and you're going to watch it, and you're going to be like, holy hell, Hunger Games completely ripped off this entire premise.
Yeah.
Like, that's what this is.
Yeah.
The whole thing. Like, you're going to watch Commando, and you're going to say, oh, my God, the whole Taken series was just ripped off from this.
Yeah, so you're saying that Arnold Schwarzenegger movies are the basis for all cinema that has come in subsequent times.
Every single action action film ever made has been ripped off from an Arnold Schwarzenegger.
We're talking to Cole Cubelic. I mean, the takes do not get stronger.
Harry Potter was ripped off from Conan. I don't even know if that one really works.
No, I think you'd probably want to say something more like Lord of the Rings, but if you said that,
exactly.
do not even say that, or I will fight you through this phone right now, Cole, for multiple reasons, not obviously the least of which is that Tolkien, the genius.
Total Recall, every space movie ever made, ripped off of Total
Yeah,
Recall.
I agree. Star Wars, well, actually, I guess they came first. Prequels, Star Wars, that's just ripping off Total Recall. Talking to Cole Cubelic. Okay, so Cole, I was told, so I credited Nicole Auerbach with breaking the story yesterday, and I got a text, not from any of you or anybody you're associated with, but I got a text that you actually broke this Big Ten news yesterday. Is that correct? Were you the first on the Big Ten going conference only?
We put it out on 3-man front on Jocks at about 1:45 yesterday.
Okay.
Maybe about 10 minutes before that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we came back from break, and I basically just said, guys, so you know, this is about to go down. This is about to happen. The Big Ten's going to a conference schedule. I think it's going to be tomorrow, but it's going to be soon. It's about to happen quick.
So, first off, impressive job there, having that news ahead of everyone. Secondly, what was your reaction to the news? Like, what do you? Yeah, what's your reaction?
First off, it was surprised that the Big Ten decided to go off and do this on their own, because it felt like, and again, T-Bob, we don't have like all the inside information. We don't know everything that's going on, but based on some of the interviews that we have seen and heard, it really felt like these Power 5 commissioners, maybe even Group of 5 commissioners as well, were all on the same page. They've been having Zoom meetings almost every day. The presidents and ADs have been meeting and talking. Everybody seemed like they wanted to go in the same direction, and we've been hearing about uniformity. And I was surprised that the Big Ten kind of stepped out. Like, here's the deal. You have young kids, you appreciate this. So I'm reading The Little Red Caboose to my son last night. And in the Little Red Caboose, there are 2 big black engines in the front of the train. My son, the beauty of this book is it's very simple. It's an easy read, and he knows all the cars of the train. So you got the oil car, you got the coal car, and you got the flat car, and you got the Little Red Caboose. So for me, I'm teaching my son about college football, and I'm like, son, what you need to understand is these 2 big black engines that are pulling the train, that's the Big Ten and the SEC. The oil cars that come next, that's the Big 12. Okay? The coal cars that come after that, that's the ACC. The flat car is all the Group of 5, and the Little Red Caboose is the Pac-12. So the SEC and the Big Ten are pulling all these other leagues and conferences, and they're all waiting for this to happen. What I didn't expect was that we were going to get to one of those little split deals in the railway, and one of the big black engines was going to pull off on its own and just leave the entire train. So that's what happened yesterday, and I was surprised by that. Now, going a step further of what they actually announced, I was relieved, because I think it's the Big Ten, and it's going to trickle into the rest of the Power 5. It's just a gigantic dose of reality. It's an understanding of what most likely has to be done if we're going to get real football this fall. It just is.
That's well said.
And it's all about control. Control everything within your power. And when you're playing other conferences, you can't control their testing regimen. You can't control where games are played, what time games are played, and you don't have the ability to move as many games around as you do within your own league. So now if you're going to go play, let's say you're going to play 8 in 10 weeks or 10 in 12 or 13 weeks, you have the capabilities to move those around because that's your entity. You control that. You don't need permission from anybody else. You don't have to talk to another commissioner, AD, head coach. You just do it. And it's done. And if people don't like it, tough. That's the way it's going to go down. I think it's a great move for college football. I think it's best case scenario also for the SEC, because in all those discussions of uniformity, T-Bob, you have to think about Congress. You have to think about everybody being on the same page. You got to be playing ball with some guy out in the Pac-12 that has no idea what he's doing when he's trying to direct that conference. So now you look at it as, we don't have to do anything you guys are doing. We don't have to go sit down with meetings and get permission from upper levels of the government. We don't have to worry about other states outside of our footprint and what their government's doing. We are worried about us. And listen, this may sound completely bananas. And as a former player, I'm actually interested to hear your response to it. If I was Greg Sankey right now, I would get my ADs, my head coaches, and my presidents on a Zoom call. And I would say, here's what we're about to do. Obviously, we're going to a conference-only schedule. It basically has to happen. We want to leave the last weekend of the season open to maybe get some of those rivalry games with the ACC, which, by the way, there's 6 ACC-SEC games this year. That's a lot of inventory, and that's valuable inventory. You want to try to preserve as many of those as you can. I get these ADs and head coaches on the phone, and my first question is, do you have a dorm within close proximity to your football facility? Most are going to say yes. You can tell me where LSU's is. Auburn's is literally right across the street. It's 25 yards from the facility. Move your kids into the dorm. We will help offset the financial end of that. We'll help take care of it however you need to. From a monetary standpoint, get them in, give them food, take their temperatures before they go in, have them tested on a daily or every other day basis. They cannot leave after 8 p.m. If they don't want to do it and they want to opt out, you can leave, you can have your scholarship, and you can be done. Give them cable, give them internet, give them PlayStations, give them a rec room, give them beds, whatever else they need, give them cable, hook it all up. But this is how we're going to lock it down so we can get a college football season in. And if anybody doesn't want to play ball with that, then you might not be able to play football in the SEC this fall. If it's me, I'm going to those kind of extremes to try and assure that I can get 6, 8, 10 football games in this fall, because that's going to ensure you your gigantic check from the league.
Yeah, well, back in the day, Huey P. Long actually built dorms directly into Tiger Stadium to basically increase the stadium size as a workaround. So there you go, Cole. Everybody should just live in Death Valley year-round. Cole Cubelic, at Cole Cubelic on Twitter. Cole, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I will let you know how the tier list develops.
Appreciate that, T-Bob. Always enjoy joining you guys. Let's do it again soon.
Remember, Arnold Schwarzenegger is the basis for all of cinema. Wow, you learn something new every day. I also learned how many movies that I need to catch up on. A lot of the old classics. I've never seen Demolition Man, Commando, Running Man, Bloodsport. I've never seen The Rock. Heard all of these very good things. Coming up next, we will dive into this list in earnest. Off the bench, OTB-OT, 104.5, 100.9, 94.7 ESPN.
OTB, OT.
Dear Sports is our love letter to sports. Share your Dear Sports letter with us. Call 860-506-6161 and read it to us. Or share a video or text using the hashtag Dear Sports on Twitter or Instagram.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hi, friends. We're all a little on edge, but we at Richards Honda want to help. If your car needs service, we'll pick it up and drop it off, fixed and sanitized. If you need a new car, use our buy from home option or call us and we'll deliver it right to your door with no payments for 90 days. We are all in this together, and together we'll get through it. For more information, log on to richardshonda.com today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. and I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Far presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. More reaction to the Big Ten's football news and the Riot Radio Hours return. Join us Fridays AFR 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB, OT, with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back. OTB, OT, third hour. We are closing out our first week of doing the third hour. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you to everybody who's come and hung out. The YouTube chat, huddle, everything. By the way, as far as the YouTube chat is concerned, I know earlier in the week we were telling you to go to the Off the Bench YouTube and watch live. We just want to be clear about this. So now the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, which only has about 1,000 subscribers there. So if you could go subscribe, that helps a ton. That is going to be where every show, every live and local show lives, okay? So it's going to be Off the Bench in the morning, hanging with Hester and Handy during the day, after further review in the afternoon. It's all going to be all day right there on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube, and then the Off the Bench page will have all the highlights and everything cut up on demand for you, kind of parsed out. So think of the 104.5 channel a bit just like a TV channel where the only thing that the TV channel ever shows is local sports talk from right here in the Mercedes-Benz studio. So I think that's pretty cool. But like I said, if you could help us like migrate over to that channel, that would be great. And then liking and sharing and all that cliche stuff obviously helps as we battle with the eternal algorithm. Now, let's get into it. Movie tier list. Danny has the visual. Danny, if you want to go ahead and maybe throw that visual up on the screen, you get my ugly face off the screen. Go ahead and full screen it for those who are watching on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube. This is what I want to do, boys. Because there's so much here, right? And this is not a one-day affair. But I'm going to do an initial pass. I'm going to tell everybody who's where, why they are, and then during it, if anybody jumps out to you, Kay, Danny, that you feel differently about, that you think should be higher or lower, I think we have that conversation, and then we come to a group conclusion. Okay, so we have 5 tiers. S is the best. Don't ask me why. I just always have heard that S tier is the best tier. It is something to do with Japan, Danny? Yeah, is that correct?
Japanese universities rank. And that shu means like excellence or like it's barely ever given out.
There you go. So yes, and we already probably have too many in the S tier right now. I think some are going to fall out of there. So it's S, then A, then B, then C, then D. I want this to be a comprehensive list as well. In the D tier, We've got Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. And I want to be clear about this. And the reason why I'm starting here is because most of these villains are great characters. So there's going to be some painful rankings. And maybe you think Bane from The Dark Knight Rises is awesome. I don't know if I agree. The plane heist was pretty cool. I don't really buy how realistic him holding the city hostage is. And to be quite frank, I don't love what they did with his voice. It's kind of hard to understand at times. It was super hard at the beginning. So Bane is Tom Hardy looks cool, but also Tom Hardy's pretty small, really. But he looks cool in the movie. Still, though, anytime, too, that you're a bad guy, that can be beat by just, like, popping your oxygen tube out or whatever it is. Yeah, Bane's a D-tier villain to me.
I mean, I don't know. I disagree. I feel like he's super intimidating. I feel like everything about him is super cool. I'm also biased because I really like Christopher Nolan, so like I like all his movies. I like all the way he directs everything.
So where would you put Bane in your list?
I'd probably put him B.
Okay, let's see who the people agree with. Is it B or is it D? Get in the chat and
he's got
we'll
super
decide.
good quotes.
He does. Okay, you're right. Off of quotability alone, he probably deserves to be at least in C. Okay, bump him up to C. We'll fall in the middle.
Breaks Batman's back. Like no, not just no smoking. Just do that.
Okay, that's another good point, Danny. Yeah. You're kind of convincing me here. I do love the whole. You merely adopted the dark. I was born into it, molded by it. And I've used that line like a million times in sports talk. So okay, you know what? Bump Bane up to B. Then we got Major Chip Hazard from Small Soldiers. I love Small Soldiers. I don't know if anybody else does, but Chip belongs there. We have Sauron. Okay, you know me. Lord of the Rings is my favorite thing in the world. Sauron, though, not like the most effective villain. If we were to throw the Ring in there, I believe the Ring is A tier. Given that it's kind of like Temptation incarnate, Sauron doesn't do a lot for me. D tier. Scar from Lion King. D tier. Did he have a hand in creating one of the saddest scenes ever? Yes. Did he do anything effective besides that? No. Scar is D tier. Ben Affleck from Dazed and Confused. D tier. Very funny. Love him. Just not enough there. Voldemort. Okay? A lot of people like him. I think Voldemort, like a lot of the Harry Potter stuff in the books, much better than in the movies. Movies are fine. Voldemort never really translated anything scary for me. D tier. Mewtwo from Pokemon. D tier. Megatron from Transformers. D tier. The first Transformers movie was really the only good Transformers movie. Everyone else has just been a crazy just glut of special effects and pieces moving in interlocking ways that make no sense because it's just too much going on. I would love a Transformers movie where they adopt the 80s cartoon aesthetic. Somebody said President Snow from Hunger Games, D tier. Lucius Malfoy from Harry Potter, D tier. The Monstars from Space Jam, fun, D tier. The bad guy from Titanic, D tier. The Fratellis from Goonies, D tier. Dwight Goodman from Dodgeball, D tier. Why? Not because he's not funny. He's great. But because he is essentially Tony Perkis, just repurposed. Okay, Tony Perkis from Heavyweights, that's a B tier kind of guy. That's a good villain. I love him. A lot of great lines. And then we got Spike.
Wait, is he in the B tier?
Yeah, go ahead and bump okay. Tony Perkis up to B tier. I think that's where he belongs. For those that have not seen Heavyweights, that's all Dwight Goodman was Tony, just in a new form. And then finally, Spike from Little Giants, a movie that I love. We're going to throw him in the D tier as well. Man, there are a lot of heroes on this, and this is taking way longer than I thought it was going to. So I mean, look, I guess for now, we'll kind of put this image out there, and we'll have to revisit it. And give me your opinions on that D tier, where you want to bump it. But yeah, when we get back here on OTB OT, we're going to talk to Andy Staples. I'll ask him the same thing I asked Cole, favorite villain of all time, if you want to make a case for anyone. And then we'll dive into some college football. This is OTB OT on 104.5, 100.3, 94.7 ESPN.
OTB OT. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Football games in this upcoming college football season on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB, OT, with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Spencer P. raising a good point in the YouTube chat. Please watch Pan's Labyrinth. The main officer is worth S-tier consideration. The fact that we don't know his name, look, I love Pan's Labyrinth. It's an incredible movie. One of the most brutal scenes and best special effects I've ever seen is the wine bottle kill in that movie. And yes, that guy is absolutely hateful. But S-tier is for the elite of the elite. I mean, S-tier is for like Anthony Hopkins, Lecter, and Christoph Waltz, Hans Landa. Like these are, it's Pan's Labyrinth, great movie, great bad guy, not getting in the cut. Right now, it is my pleasure to talk to one of my favorite college football writers and thinkers. He's also the host of the Andy Staples Show, the Ash Show, if you will, or that's redundant. You can find that, though, on theathletic.com. Remember, at theathletic.com/hold that podcast, 40% off, and you help me out. Andy, what is going on, man? We're going to start here. Who is your favorite villain of all time? And if I were to present you with a tier list, with S being the best, and then A, B, C, D, where would you rank him?
I've been thinking about this because, I think Lecter's the best movie villain of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I just, the way Anthony Hopkins plays him, the character himself, the things he does, he's got some style, some flair. But then I also go T-1000, and I realize that I'm compressing into a very short time period of basically when I was in middle school. But the T-1000 is just remorseless, and
it's true.
It doesn't stop. It just keeps coming. Now, I did hear you on with Cole Cubelic, and I got to throw another one out there that I'm sure only me and Cole are thinking about.
Okay.
Damon Killian. Richard Dawson in The Running Man. He is terrifying in that movie.
Okay, I'm going to add him. I'm adding him to the list to be ranked later because I have not seen Running Man.
When you saw Richard Dawson after that kissing old ladies on Family Feud, it took on an entirely different meaning.
Talking to Andy Staples here. I guess I never thought about that with the T-1000 either. It's true that he kind of embodies some of the best elements of like Michael Myers or something, but even wrapped up in a more terrifying package given his technological prowess and ability to shift.
The thing is, Michael Myers is motivated by something. The T-1000 isn't actually motivated. He's just programmed. So you can't reason with him.
Yeah.
I guess you can't reason with Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees.
Oh, but you kind of can with Myers, right? Because he's got like the history with his family a little bit. Yeah. I feel like there's things.
Yell at him.
Yes, there's things that have given Michael Myers pause. Nothing is giving the T-1000 pause.
Exactly.
And programmed, heartless, a look into our dark AI future, if you will. All right, T-1000's already in the A tier, S tier consideration. I'll let the people decide. Speaking of decisions, Andy. Some were made yesterday in college football, namely the Big Ten is going conference early. Your reaction to that news and kind of initial lay of the land?
Well, it definitely seems like a precursor to other leagues doing the same thing. And I understand their reasoning for it. And that's you want to have the same protocols as everybody else. And what we're seeing is, basically the balkanization of college football has been exposed. We all knew it was a really balkanized sport. There's no central governing body. Yeah. You could say the NCAA is the governing body, but it's really not because the members are the NCAA. But the problem is the members don't always agree on everything. So, if the Big Ten wants to do one thing and the Big 12 wants to do another thing, well, they're all NCAA members. So you can't just say, well, the NCAA is going to say do this. It doesn't work that way. So. And you'll see it in other sports too. I mean, it'd be kind of like if you had half of the NFL owners dead set against what the other half of the NFL owners wanted to do. Roger Goodell couldn't do anything about that. So that's where they're at right now. And so they're basically boiling it down into units where people have to listen to some central governing authority. And so the Big Ten can say to Big Ten schools, you must do this. This must be your protocol. And they have to follow that. The SEC has to say, can say, you must do this to the SEC schools, and they'll follow it. So that's what you're seeing is they're just boiling it down to its essence, where this is the largest group of people who have to listen to somebody. And so I don't know what it means necessarily as far as the season goes, because if you read the Big Ten statement, if you hear Gene Smith, if you hear Kevin Warren, the commissioner of the Big Ten, they made it very clear this is if they can play. They'll do this. But I think what this does is it gives you some flexibility where we'll see more next week because the Big Ten is going to talk about what the actual schedule might look like. You could say, okay, we'll try to start the season on time, and it'll be a shorter season in terms of games, so we'll be able to spread it out more. and then do that. And then if things don't look good in a month, you say, well, let's try to start the season in October. We've already shortened it, but maybe we can get it in. And then if things don't look good then, you say, well, we can move this to January and try this. I think this is trying to buy some time to get that decision made. I think most of the administrators would prefer to play in the fall. It's weird because they were very anti the idea of spring football. Coaches have never particularly been against the idea of playing in the spring. They see it as a pretty practical solution. But the administration has been not a fan for a long time. That's starting to turn. So what you may see eventually is this gets kicked down the road, and they say, well, we're going to try again in January. But I think right now they still would like to try in the fall if they can.
Yeah, and like there is, and this is all built on shifting sand because obviously the college football playoff is saying, yeah, we're still going to have a playoff. That's our plans as it stands right now. But that we got to see where this all goes in terms of scheduling. Andy, let's say all Power 5 conferences. I'm assuming everybody ends up going conference only. What do you think those schedules look like? Does a conference like the SEC just stick with the 8 games that they normally do? I think the Big Ten maybe does 9. Or does everybody adopt a round number like 10? Is it different conference to conference? How do you see it playing out?
I think it'd be different conference to conference. Like if you're the Big 12 and you go conference only, well, you're not going to play 10 because that would be repeating one team.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just going to play 9. The Big 10, I would assume they talk about 10, and it was weird because a lot of people came out yesterday and said the Big 10 approved a 10-game conference schedule. Well, no, they didn't do that. They approved a conference-only schedule. They haven't decided how many games it's going to be. But I think if you're looking for flexibility, you may not want to go too high on the number. You may want to keep it if you're the SEC at 8, or keep it if you're the Big 10 at 9, and then just try to work with that because what they're thinking now is if they do try to play a season in the fall, and you have a situation where maybe guys from 1 or 2 teams test positive and there's too many positive tests and they have to shut a team down, that you can move some stuff around and still everybody has a season. So the other piece of it, T-Bob, I think that's interesting is the Big Ten seems to make it sound, if Gene Smith, the Ohio State Athletic Director, was talking about this yesterday, like it may be done kind of on the fly. Like you schedule the first few games and then you keep filling the schedule as it goes because you don't know what's going to happen with each team. And I don't know that that's a manageable thing either, but it would be a very interesting season if that's the way it happens.
Talking to Andy Staples here on OTB. You can check him out on theathletic.com. His writing lives there as well as his podcast, The Andy Staples Show. If you are a college football fan, you should definitely check it out. I'm going to be on an upcoming episode that you want to listen to, especially if you also love Star Wars and you love college football.
So we'll take him behind the fourth wall here. T-Bob was supposed to be on this morning's episode, but then some stuff happened. We figured we probably needed to talk about the news. So we're going to talk. We'll have T-Bob's episode on Monday, barring any other catastrophic news.
Yeah.
But yes, there's a lot of good LSU talk, and then there is a solid half hour of us deciding who is the Jedi Nick Saban.
I mean, I can't, once you get me started on that sort of subject, and you two are very knowledgeable, it's hard not to want to get deep and chop it up. Andy, thank you so much for stopping by this morning, man. I'm like everybody else, and like we talk about on the show, it's like I want college football to happen. I have a vested interest in college football happening, and I'll be fascinated to see where this goes over the next 2 weeks.
It's going to be wild. It is this. I never thought they'd get here, and what happens beyond here is probably even weirder.
Yeah, that's fair. Andy Staples, The Athletic, my favorite sports site, athletic.com/hold that podcast, 40% off your sign up. All right, when we get back here on Off the Bench, 104.500 with the 94.7 ESPN, we will wrap up, and I'll try to give you a little more of this tier list, and we'll continue to add it and move to it. I'm looking at all your opinions online.
OTB, OT. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Radio hours return. Join us Fridays AFR 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB, OT, with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Is this song in Step Brothers? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Again, I don't even know if YouTube can hear the music because we're trying not to get banned. They cannot. Okay, well, sorry, YouTube. You'll never know what song we were listening to. Welcome back to OTB OT. More conversation going on our movie villain tier list. Christian Bologna, it looks like. We'll just say Christian in the YouTube chat. Says, where do the refs from the NFC Championship belong? To which Sean responded, S+. And yeah, I agree. Never forget that the refs completely screwed you out of a Super Bowl appearance. A lot of people ask about Thanos. I have Thanos in the A tier. So we went through our D tier earlier. By the way, Bane did get bumped up to a B. No movement otherwise. I remain unconvinced by everybody's Voldemort arguments. They're not doing a lot for me. C tier. We have Kevin Spacey in 7. John Doe. Look, enjoyable, okay? But actually, like, is he that good of a villain? You see him in a very limited fashion. Now, he's very effective. What's in the box? He does manage to get to Brad Pitt directly. Cutting off your fingerprints is pretty sick, too. Like, that is stronger. Should he be higher than C tier now that we're talking about this out loud? Okay, do you have an opinion on 7, on Kevin Spacey in 7?
And what tier do we have him at?
We have him in C currently.
C? No, I think that's probably fair.
Yeah, just leave it. Look, because there's a lot of good villains on this list. You're right.
I mean, as far as like Cole Cubic's sake, like people that you hate.
Yeah.
I hate him.
You do hate him, you're saying.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, like, yeah, he
he completely screws over Brad. Yes.
Like, innocent people, and then. Yeah.
They weren't innocent, though, Danny. That's the whole point. The 7 deadly sins, bro. It's just like Peter King talking about gluttony the other day. And Peter King's going to make Joey Chestnut eat himself to death.
Is he like a Dexter in that sense?
He is a beast. That is true. He is constantly getting away, and he manipulates every... You know what? Bump him up to B. He manipulates every situation to benefit him. Bump him up to B. All right. The Cable Guy, Jim Carrey from Cable Guy, which is weird. Let's ask this. Who is the actual main character of Cable Guy? Is it, not Cusack, who am I blanking? Is it Matthew Broderick or is it Jim Carrey? Because if it's Jim Carrey, then he's off this list.
I mean, the movie's called The Cable Guy.
It is called The Cable Guy, but we follow Matthew Broderick, right?
True.
So we'll keep him on the list. C tier. One of my favorite scenes of all time is the medieval times scene. Down, down, down. Red Knight's going down. I can't go to medieval times without starting that chant in the crowd. Shooter McGavin, C tier. Very fun, but I mean, I don't know. Loki from Marvel, C tier. Loki's never done it for me personally, but people seem to have enough love that I didn't want Loki to be D tier. I think Tom Hiddleston's fine. Nothing special. Killmonger from Black Panther, C tier. Looks super jacked when he doesn't have a shirt on and all the cuts are all cool and his hair is really, really cool too. But impact-wise, didn't have the biggest impact. Dolores Umbridge, C tier. A lot of people want her to be higher, in my opinion. And if you're noticing a theme here, this is kind of consistent with all the Harry Potter movies. Book Dolores Umbridge is borderline S tier. Movie Dolores Umbridge, you don't hate her. To Danny's, you don't hate her. You do, but not in the same way that you hate that woman in the book. I have Calvin Candy in the C tier. Danny wants to move him up.
Yeah,
did we move him up to B?
No, he's still right now in C.
I mean, I haven't seen Django, honestly, since it came out of theater. Like, I watch it in theaters and I watch it once more at home, but that was years ago. Calvin Candy did not stick out in my mind personally.
The scene where like, he smashes the hammer on the skull and like he busts his hand open, like that was real. Like, you heard that was real? That wasn't even, like, fake.
Wait, what?
Blood. He actually, like, busted his hand open. It was, like, started gushing on.
Oh, no. I love stories like that. It's like in Two Towers when Viggo Mortensen kicks that orc head when he thinks the hobbits have died, and then he falls to his knees yelling in pain. He's really in a ton of pain because he smashed and broke his big toe right on that kick, right? And it's, like, the perfect kick. Like, the head flies right by the camera. Okay. Calvin Candy, we'll do more research on.
I think it should be at least be B.
Okay. Well, I don't want to do it again yet. We've bumped up too many people so far. Cruella de Vil, C tier. Scared me as a kid, but I don't know. Not doing a lot for me. Lord Farquaad from Shrek, C tier. And then we have Jigsaw, C tier. I love Jigsaw's ability to launch a franchise first Saw movie twist, excellent. He's kind of boring otherwise. B tier's getting a little full. That's why I don't want to move anybody else up. We may have to bump some people down here.
Dr. Evil and B tier.
Dr. Evil's in the B tier. Because he's funny, dude. He's hilarious.
That doesn't qualify.
Yes, it does. Yes, he is the
villain.
bad guy. He's the villain in the movie, and he's a good villain. You love Dr. Evil.
He could be the highest tier
Exactly,
on
he
the
should
comedic
be
value.
hated.
Yes.
He's supposed to be hated.
million. But see, this is what I wanted to avoid. This is why I wanted to avoid a direct codified grading structure, because I want this to be a little bit more off of feel. And Dr. Evil feels better than a D. I'll be willing to entertain that he doesn't feel better than a C. But he's in the B tier for now, along with Hans Gruber, who should probably be higher.
I'd put Leonardo DiCaprio over the bear from Toy Story, honestly.
Calvin Candy and Lotso?
Yeah.
Okay, you can flip those. I like that. So we'll move Calvin Candy up to B. Lotso moves down to C. Look, as you can tell, folks, we got a lot of work to do on this list. We'll keep chopping it up over the weekend online. Stick around. Remember, 104.5 ESPN's YouTube, bringing you all the streaming shows throughout the day. And then check out the OTB YouTube for all the highlights. This is Off the Bench, OTBOT. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Danny. Thank you to all the wonderful listeners. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
OTB, OT.